Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of the Tommy John Show. I'm Tommy Lane. As always, that is Johnny Mishaz. And our head commentator, gruesome Gavin Delaney.
Glad to be back for a fourth edition, Tommy.
Absolutely. And before we get to the gorgeous day today, we did this in the morning today because it's such a stinker outside. And it's always nice to have great weather in the summer, right, Johnny?
Oh, yeah. It's great. Get outside, throw the ball around.
No question. So, Gav, you want to run us through some of the platforms people can follow us on?
Absolutely, Tommy. So, first of all, the thing that most kids use most these days, obviously Instagram. You can follow us at The Tommy John Show. Mm-hmm. That is at The Tommy John Show. It's displayed on the screen right there for those who can't hear as well. On Twitter, you can also follow us at Tommy John Show _. Unfortunately, The Tommy John Show was taken, I believe. Or a little too long for Twitter's guidelines. They're picky about that stuff. So at Tommy John Show _ make sure to follow us on then. Of course, for the moms, Facebook. You can like us at The Tommy John Show on Facebook. Obviously, you're watching us right now, probably on YouTube. So don't forget to right underneath that video, like and subscribe. And a website about all things Tommy John Show will be coming soon. So you guys keep your eye out for that and keep following us, liking us, and we'll keep doing our thing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gav, for running us through. So why don't enough with all that jazz on. We get on to the real stuff at hand. Sports. And it's hard to talk about sports usually in the summer because all the sports are wrapped up. Well, now it's even harder to talk about sports because of this thing called COVID-19 that has wiped out all sports. But however, they're coming back in short time. So what sports fans crave is something sports related. Well, documentaries have really taken off about sports. The Last Dance we've talked about on this show countless of times, the great Michael Jordan of the Bulls documentary. And now we had one this Sunday, Long Gone Summer, which was about the 1998 home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. So, Johnny, I don't know if you had a chance to get around to watching it, but
unfortunately, I did not watch the documentary, but I do know a little bit about the home run race that summer.
Right. Yeah, Gav, me and you have talked about the documentary. How did you like what you saw of it?
I thought it was good. Obviously all baseball fans are craving their baseball fix. And what better story to talk about than the Long Gone Summer and the home run race between Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, and Ken Griffey Jr. I was lucky enough to watch it with my family. And my parents, they were both living in the States at the same time, and they just recall how big that was. I mean, whether you're a baseball fan or not, you were talking about who's going to hit the most home runs. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. hit 30 bombs before June 30th. That's unheard of. My Road to the Show guy on MLB The Show, he's not even doing that. I'm kidding, he is. He's doing very well. But
he's coming through the ranks. Yeah,
he's coming through. But anyway, no, it's just remarkable what they're doing. And that wasn't even the half of it. I mean, you got Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. Obviously, there's an asterisk next to it because they were using performance-enhancing drugs, but still, it's not like they were facing Little League pitchers. They were facing the hottest guys in the league.
They still have to hit the ball.
And they were still hitting bombs.
Right.
So, and also, at that time, everyone was doing it, right? So, they just were the cream of the crop. They rose to the top. And that's why the documentary was made about them. And I liked it. It was interesting.
I liked during the documentary, I was surprised that McGwire and Sosa agreed to be in the documentary because of the whole, when baseball came down on the use of steroids, their reputation was definitely tainted and they wouldn't want to look back at those times, right? But it was just baseball after they're talking about after the 1994 lockout, they lost a ton of its fans. And baseball was looking for a way to regain its popularity. Baseball, love or hate the steroid era, the home run chase and people hitting bombs saved baseball. People wanted to tune in to see who would hit the most home runs. It was much-watched TV. They were hitting it out of the ballpark. It was insane. So as much as baseball and baseball historians hate that era of Barry Bonds and McGwire just juicing but hitting 500-foot bombs, it really did save baseball, Johnny.
Yeah, I agree, Tommy. Fans love the long ball, right? Chicks dig the long ball. Home run hitters drive Cadillacs. It's just what it is, right?
So, when we were talking about, if you look at the stats of these guys like McGwire, Sosa, and Barry Bonds, you just think first ballot Hall of Famer,
Without a doubt.
best player, top players ever. Unfortunately, none of them are in the Hall of Fame, and that also includes some people regard the greatest pitcher ever, in Roger Clemens. He ain't in the Hall of Fame. So, do you think those athletes who set every record should be allowed into baseball's finest establishment, the Hall of Fame?
I think they should be able to, Tommy. You said these guys are part of baseball's history. They're icons in the game, and you gotta. It's their right to be there. They played, even if they have a little asterisk next to their name, a little something like that. They still deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Be able to say they made the Hall of Fame.
Well, if you look, I think the one that gets everyone a bit stunned is Barry Bonds. Like, if you could pull up some of Barry Bonds' stats, it was insane.
I think
it was insane.
I think he has records in walks, intentional walks, home runs. It's crazy.
I remember one time the bases were loaded and the team was up by one run, and Barry Bonds came to the plate and they intentionally walked a run in because they knew this guy's going to win the game.
Yeah, they were down 2 and that ended up working for them, intentionally walking Barry Bonds.
So they intentionally walked Barry Bonds to make it a one-run game, and the tying run being 90 feet away.
That's probably the only time that's ever happened in baseball, someone being intentionally walked with the bases loaded.
And like at the end of a game when you're only up by 2 runs.
Right, bottom of the ninth.
I mean, that's what these guys did. I know they say the steroids obviously played a factor, but you still got to make contact.
Exactly.
You still got to hit the ball.
Still got to have the eye, be able to hit that 98 mile an hour fastball in the corner.
Yeah, so Gab, you have some of Barry Bonds.
I got all of his stats, actually.
Oh, Jesus.
So in his 22-year career, this man hit 762 homers.
Record.
Which is the record. He was walked a whopping 2,558 times.
Record?
I can guarantee you. Yeah, that's a record, obviously. His overall batting average was 298. 298. That's not a record, but that's
pretty solid.
That's a Hall of Fame.
For a home run hitter, that's very solid.
You got to remember, he wasn't like a Tony Gwynn or a Ted Williams or DiMaggio who just made contact.
Yeah, no,
he is pure power.
For those that don't know, the Giants, when he was playing, they still do. They play at AT&T Ballpark, which is right in San Francisco. It's on the bay, and there's the outfield, the right field wall. I think they call it Levi's Landing now. It's a bit of stands, and then it's water. It's just water. And the amount of balls that man must have put in the water, ridiculous. Like, he must have been feeding those fish.
And I think he won like 7 MVPs or something. It was insane.
Yeah, I think he has the record for most MVPs, if I'm not wrong.
So what more do you want to first? If this is just me, if I had to make an all-time ballot, Barry Bonds is on it.
For sure.
And he's going into his 9th ballot. And it seems like sour grapes a bit.
60% last time?
Yeah, you got to get to 75. So he's got 2-3 years to get in. And that's a lot of ground to make up in 3 years.
It's a lot of votes.
I mean, if you think he has the most home runs ever, most walks ever, most home runs in a season, most MVPs, but even before he was on steroids, he had a Hall of Fame career. He had like 3 MVPs, 4 Silver Sluggers. This is before.
He could have retired before he took a needle, and then
he's a Hall of Fame.
He still would have been in the Hall of Fame.
But people overlook his base on balls record. When you think about it, like, you know how hard that is. Like, you don't even have to swing the bat, sure, but
it's not that simple.
When you're Barry Bonds, you're hitting bombs. It's not that easy just to hold off. And obviously, a lot of those were intentional, like you mentioned. But still, like, you know how hard it is to recognize that a ball coming the speed of a truck flying down the highway at like ridiculous speeds. You can recognize that ball is not in a strike zone. Like, it's close to impossible.
And
it's very impressive.
And you look at people who they've let into the Hall of Fame that have, I don't say no business, but ahead of Barry Bonds, ahead of Roger Clemens, ahead of Mark McGwire. I mean,
Rose.
It's laughable.
People forget about Pete Rose.
Pete Rose is a different. That's
but
just
still, it's not the steroids thing.
He's in the talk. Yeah. He should be there too.
He should be.
But I was reading before controversial Hall of Fame guys, and the number one was like some guy in 1870 or something like that. He was a pitcher. He pitched 2 seasons. He went like 21-22. He had an ERA of like 4, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So obviously that's slim pickings.
That's quite a career.
Back in the days of the Civil War.
And Gab, we talked about this earlier. If you can pull up Mike Mussina, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, Mike Mussina got put into the Hall of Fame, and I believe he averaged 11 wins a year, never won a Cy Young. He gets into the Hall of Fame. where Roger Clemens won 7 Cy Youngs, 3 World Series. God only knows how many wins he averaged a year, and he's left looking in the Hall of Fame. Like, it's crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous, Tommy. It doesn't make sense how they can, put these other guys in who've not even a third of the career of these other guys, and they get no recognition.
Mike Mussina, he was 270 and 153 all time. So he won 270 games.
That's solid.
He started, and he lost 150, which is solid. Because these guys pitch a lot.
Yeah.
But that's 33rd, I guess, all time, which is not bad. 3.7 ERA. Which is, okay.
That's not great.
2,800 strikeouts. That's not bad. So
that's impressive.
He's in the Hall of Fame. 5-time All-Star, 7-time Golden Glove. But I can see your point.
Well, and then look at he never won a Cy Young, right? And then there's a guy who's won 7.
Right. If he's in there, you can't argue that.
Yeah, exactly.
He
so
won
your point
7.
Being, if he's in there, then.
Well, if you look at look at just any of these guys' stats, they boom out. And I don't want to say it's sour grapes. I don't want to say it's, but the baseball writers vote on who wins the Cy Young, on who wins the MVP, and who wins all these awards, and they knew stuff was going on. There's no way Barry Bonds' physique changed that much in 3 years. I'll give for sure, but they knew he was on it when he was playing, and they still voted him MVP. They still voted Roger Clemens the Cy Young winner, so they didn't have a problem with it then.
Right.
And then now, when they want the ultimate validation, the Hall of Fame, they won't give it to him.
Exactly. They suddenly have a problem with it.
I mean, Johnny, it's crazy. It's like,
yeah, maybe it comes down to just the impact they had at the time. They would have been an uproar if Barry Bonds didn't win the MVP when he hit 73 home runs. Even if he was juicing.
Yeah, it would have been ridiculous.
Yeah, it would have been. But now it's blown over, and they're allowed to say, well, something a little sketchy about that.
I mean, it's absolutely mind blowing, and it's going to be interesting with these new guys because A-Rod's coming up in a few years. David Ortiz is coming up in a few years. If these guys get in first, second ballot, then I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's clearly not about because it's for sure steroid users in the Hall of Fame. But
right, there's I don't know.
Like Mike Piazza, there was rumors Mike Piazza was on steroids. There was rumors that tons of guys.
Yeah, exactly.
In the late '90s, who wasn't?
So many guys.
And back in the I think a decade ago, right when everything was coming up about Mark McGwire, he said he gave the I don't know if you call it an excuse, but he said the only reason he was using PEDs was because to reduce injury and to reduce the risk of injury. Because when you think of baseball, you're playing 160 games in 170 days or 180 days. Yeah, something like that. That's ridiculous on the human body. So when you're an older guy, I don't know how old Mark McGwire was in '98, but he was
older.
Towards the end of his career because he'd been playing since the '80s.
Right.
Yeah, the late '80s.
And
he
then
started playing.
so he'd already been in the league for about 10 years. So you're not going to move as well as you were when you were young. So obviously, if you can get your hands on something that can maybe ease the pain or something, because he had bad legs, right? He had a bad heel or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I don't blame him. Obviously, it helped, but is an excuse to say that this was just to reduce the risk of injury? I don't know.
Well, if it was really something that he was using to reduce the risk of injury, he would have made it clear at the time. He would have made it clear,
yeah. He would have said before
10 years after the fact. Yeah.
So,
obviously it tarnishes a bit of what they did. I'm not saying that, but not put them in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
I mean,
I think just the fact that they weren't first ballot is punishment enough.
I think so too.
The fact that Barry Bonds wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer is insane.
And who's going to be upset? Who's it going to hurt? It's going to hurt the guys that weren't hitting 40 bombs a year back then. It's going to hurt those guys because you'll be like, well, I did it. But still, 73 homers, 73, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. He's breaking all these records, and he's not in the Hall of Fame.
He was the best of them.
If you think about I think Ken Griffey Jr. got in with almost high 90% first ballot.
Yeah, 96, I think.
Yeah. I love Ken Griffey Jr., but Barry Bonds is 10 times the player Ken Griffey Jr. was. I know people are going to be like, what? What are you talking about? Barry Bonds is the greatest offensive player ever. Not even close. Not even close.
Maybe Babe Ruth. That's the only guy I can think of.
If you want to go all the way back. Yeah, exactly. Who's that, Johnny? But Ken Griffey Jr. had the nicest swing maybe ever. But when it came to production, Barry Bonds was kicking everybody's, pardon my language, ass. And I mean, I just can't believe it. So imagine they didn't catch Barry Bonds, he'd probably be the first unanimous player
For sure, he would have
ever. And there's people with steroids, we said earlier, in the Hall of Fame. And they kind of like Jeff Bagwell as well. They brush it aside
sweep it under the rug.
sweep it under the rug. And when you get the two main guys, the two best guys from the from the late 90s, early 2000s, Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. And I hate, both of them are not good people. They are not nice guys. If you see them in interviews, they have a hot temper. I mean, it's bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. Same with Curt Schilling. I know Curt Schilling he's a crazy right wing, and they don't put him in the Hall of Fame because of it. And he's a terrible human being, but he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because it's what you do on the baseball field.
It's not what happens outside the diamond. It's
Yeah.
what happens on the field.
Like Ty Cobb is a known
Asshole.
yeah, exactly. But he's one of the greatest baseball players ever, so he's in the Hall of Fame. It shouldn't matter
He deserves to be, yeah.
your off-field issues, right? Curt Schilling should be in.
It's not about feelings or personality. It's
No.
about
It's
what
about
you put on the field, right?
And exactly. And if you wanted Bonds' punishment not being first ballot, okay. But to have Bonds and Clemens, McGuire, Sosa, the best players from that era not being in the Hall of Fame, it feels like you're just brushing that history of the sport aside, which was some of its glory days in recent years. I mean,
For
the
sure.
home run chase and Barry Bonds, those were the biggest stories in sports.
Yeah, it made baseball popular again.
It did. It brought him out of the rut of
For
the
sure.
94 lockout.
And then when they came down on the steroid users, the less home runs, less people interested.
People want to see bombs. I don't care what you say.
Yeah,
We've been saying
it's
it.
very
We've
true.
been using bombs a lot today. People want to see dingers.
Yeah.
People, when you go to the ball game, like I'm a huge baseball fan. I can watch 18 9-inning games in a row. Not everyone can do that,
No.
especially in Canada.
That's impressive.
Not
yeah.
we saw that. I mean, a Jays game, they're thinning and thinning. They're the numbers are getting smaller and smaller in attendance. So people want to see bombs. They don't want to see a pitching duel. They don't want to see a 0-0 tie going into the real baseball fans want to see that. But people in markets that aren't as knowledgeable on baseball, they want to see balls being put into orbit. They don't want to see ground balls and stuff. So that's exactly what the home run race did. Obviously, it was tainted a little bit because of the steroid use, but people liked it. It brought baseball where it wanted to be, and now we're not like that anymore.
The writers hold themselves on an incredibly high pedestal, right? They're like, oh, well, it was just terrible behavior. They shouldn't have. If they wanted to be in the Hall of Fame, they should have done it honest. Okay, fair enough.
Well, the
writers sometimes.
I have no respect for the writers. No respect.
If you
not
vote,
voting
we've talked
Derek
about
Jeter
this again.
unanimously.
Okay, that's the 99%. All right.
It's ridiculous.
There's one guy.
It's a
And I'm going to
travesty.
meet that guy. I'm going to meet him. And I'm
So
telling
what?
you, that
Serves
guy's
him
going
right.
to wish
Serves
he
him
never
right
had
as
the
he
ability
did.
to write.
So he deserves.
Well,
But
kneecapping.
me and John were just talking about this. They voted them. The writers voted on all these awards. Same in every sport. The writers vote on who wins these awards. And they had no problem giving these awards to these players when they were physically playing. Because you were in awe.
Right.
When you're hitting 73 home runs a year, I don't care if you're eating steroids for breakfast. That's incredible.
Yeah,
That's
it's
incredible.
All eyes on you, yeah.
73 home runs in a year. The record was 61, Roger Maris, right? And then you said it was to 70.
What was it?
Was it Mark
Hank
McGuire?
Aaron?
No, it was Roger Maris.
Roger Maris?
Had 61, yeah.
Hank Aaron had before 50-something?
Yeah, he had
Didn't
50-something.
Mark McGuire break that record first?
And then so
Barry
the
Bonds
whole
broke his,
Long
right?
Gone Summer's about them breaking Roger Maris's record.
Okay.
And 3 years later, Barry Bonds just shattered it. Like it wasn't even.
Yeah, he hit like 9
73.
home runs, 11 home runs more.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And they were in awe. They're like, we have no. There's no other answer. It's Barry Bonds is the MVP, or
he's unanimous.
or Roger Clemens is the Cy Young winner. There's,
Right.
I mean, you can't.
Without a doubt. You look at their stats, you look at the other people in the league, and it's impossible not to give it to them.
And now, like we said this, we're going over the same stuff again. I just can't believe that arguably the greatest pitcher ever and the greatest hitter ever will not be in the Hall of Fame. And the greatest consistent hitter ever. People can make Pete Rose.
Yeah.
He ain't even in the Hall of Fame. So what's the point of having a Hall of Fame if you have Barry Bonds' record-breaking bat, you have Barry Bonds' record-breaking jersey, his ball? Yeah, but this guy isn't in the Hall of Fame.
Doesn't
He
make
isn't
sense.
there.
You got Barry Bonds all-time home run record.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens, all-time Cy Young winners, right? You got Pete Rose, most hits of all time. None of these guys are in the Hall of Fame. It just seems like a disservice to the fans that they're not in there.
Yeah, and if they put A-Rod in, and they put David Ortiz in, and if they put all these guys who came later, who were known caught for using steroids.
Well, A-Rod wasn't caught for taking them, but
allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly. But David Ortiz was, and they're going to have trust me, David Ortiz is going to be in the Hall of Fame. They're going to brush that aside. As a Red Sox fan, I love it. David Ortiz is a Hall of Famer. But if we agree David Ortiz and Alex Rodriguez are Hall of Famers, then you have to put Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens in, and McGuire and Sosa. And Gav, any last thoughts before we move on to the...
Well, I mean, you guys make good points. I agree. I think Ortiz is going to make it, obviously.
And A-Rod's going to make it.
A-Rod's going to make it.
A-Rod's going to make it.
So
if they make it, there's no reason why Barry Bonds shouldn't be in.
There's no excuse. Yeah. No excuse.
No excuse. So, I mean, we'll see. That's all we can do. We'll see. We have no say. Right. It's not like the All-Star game we can vote. If we could vote, these guys would be in flying colors, but that's not how it works, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to see, And
do you think they get in?
I'd be surprised at this point.
Really, I think. I mean, maybe they're just punishing him. Like he'll be like a last ballot.
You think last year that everyone comes around?
Yeah,
could be.
I think so.
He's got to make up. I think Johnny said he got like 60-some-odd% this year.
I think it was just like 60.1 or something. He just
passed 50. So for the people at home who doesn't know how the baseball Hall of Fame works, you need to get 75% or above. So the writers, so there's a few hundred writers, or 100 and some odd. There's I think 200 something writers who vote, and you need a player needs 75% or more to be into the Hall of Fame. So Barry Bonds is at around 60%. Clemens is around the same too. Right. It seems like it's the same writers who are.
Yeah, it makes sense. The same writers that are voting for Bonds are voting for Clemens, and those who are
voting for Sosa and voting for Gary Sheffield, all these guys. So, do you think he gets in, Gav? Do you think Bonds and Clemens and those guys get in? And they got 2-3 years left.
Bonds for sure. I think so. At least in his last year. At least Clemens probably the same thing, because they have to. They have to. It's.
Imagine
baseball.
Having a Hall of Fame without Wayne Gretzky. Let's say Wayne Gretzky cheated. Let's say he was using a curved stick his whole career.
He still scored 92 goals.
I mean, what are we talking about? I don't care. It's either you keep them all out or...
Right, you can't half it.
Because it's not like... Okay, I mean, I could be wrong here, but it's not like the Roy's did everything. It's not like if it was powerlifting, okay, but it's not. It's timing. It
helped,
mechanics.
But
it definitely helped him hit.
It wasn't
But without him, it's not like he was. It's not like without Royce, he's hitting 0 home runs. Like you said before,
he was a Hall of Famer.
Before he was on Royce, that was a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he might hit 50 instead of 73.
Yeah, exactly. 50 homers.
It's still a lot of homers.
Career.
Yeah.
And my dad was a huge baseball fan. He still says Barry Bonds is the greatest player he's ever seen. Roids, regardless, he could do everything. He was a great fielder. He's obviously the best hitter of all time.
Yeah.
Stole bases. Yeah. He did everything. And now, like we were saying earlier, Johnny, you either if you keep Bonds, if you kept every steroid user out, okay, I get it. You got a agenda, and you got a criteria. Yeah. If you choose steroids, you're not on the Hall of Fame. There's people who have known to use steroids who are in the Hall of Fame. They just have, and they've put them in. And now just because they were the main guys using it, I mean, it's sad almost.
I don't know what he's trying to teach now. Like, I get it. You don't want to promote steroid use, but like the amount of testing that goes on now in Major League and pro sports.
In every sport,
no one has a chance of going unless you like USADA and in the UFC. Like they test you before you, like with every step you take, they test you. Same in every sport, So it's not like voting him in is gonna promote steroid use amongst young baseball players because people know the consequences now.
I have a question: is Tom Brady a Hall of Famer?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Is Bill Belichick a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they got caught cheating.
That's a different kind of cheating, though, right?
It's true.
Well, he deflated the ball. Well, if they're just saying cheaters aren't, their point is cheaters aren't allowed in the Hall of Fame.
Deflating the balls is like I don't know, pine tar on your bat, or or using pine tar to
The
pick.
cork in your bat.
Cooking bat.
It's like if I got
Well, Edelman's got known using steroids. Edelman might get in the Hall of Fame.
That's a good point.
He got suspended 4
That's
games.
true,
NFL,
he
here's
did get
4
suspended.
games. It's not we're keeping you
Rule
out
of
of the Hall of
force.
Fame. I mean, I know it's a different sport, but football, there's more physical. Steroids can do more damage in football than in baseball.
Yeah, steroids can
Football,
kill
you're
someone.
hitting someone.
That's true.
I mean, it's crazy. So you just got a point of what we believe is call a spade, play it, just the same rules for everyone. Don't punish the big guys if you're going to let the little steroid users get in.
Mm-hmm.
And get people who have no business being in the Hall of Fame just because they didn't use steroids. I mean, come on. You're having people who have no business being in from the same era as these guys.
You can't pick and choose them. It's all or none.
Exactly. So we totally agree.
For sure.
So as much as we love talking about baseball, we don't want to put the whole episode toward baseball. Gab, what's next on tap for us?
Next, we're going to go onto the hard court and talk about the NBA.
All right.
And just walk you guys through some of the strange rules that have come about in NBA's 113-page rule book on the
Ooh, you're going to read us all 113 pages?
Story time.
Yeah, why not?
Story
We'll make
time.
this a 24-hour episode.
Yeah.
No, it's strange. And I'm not sure if you guys heard about, but, like, a lot of the rules are, like, very, like, specific and have nothing to do with baseball. Like, for instance, basketball, sorry. Like, no doubles in table tennis. I know there's some jokes about that online. No caddies on the golf course. No sharing snorkels. Like, I guess,
That's a big one. That's a big one.
It's
Hey,
tropical,
Johnny,
right?
don't share snorkels. When have
Yeah.
I heard
I'll
that
make
before?
sure not to.
Well, Johnny loves snorkel sharing, so we gotta.
That is on my.
That's
my
a blow,
list of things
Johnny.
to
That-
do.
I don't even know what
That's,
that means, but it's probably blowing some like.
Yeah, it sounds a little.
Yeah. No snorkel share.
But in no, like all jokes aside, like Florida is opening. It's starting to open a lot quicker than other places with beaches and everything. So players are not going to want to be cooped up in the arena, right? They're going to want to go out and venture, and that's going to be dangerous because all it takes is one, and then we're right back to where we were in March.
Then we're right back, yeah.
So
The NBA is just going to mass test everyone
For sure.
and make sure, and if
They're
you're
test them every day.
every day, and if they're found, well, you got to stay in quarantine for 2 weeks. So, and if you look, people are like, oh, they're like in prison, they can't leave anywhere. Where they
Disney
can walk
World.
around is
Yeah.
massive. There's like a
yeah,
golf course.
They're not in prison.
Yeah, it's Disneyland.
Are you serious? There's
What
Mickey
kind of-
Mouse running around. I mean, there's worse. There's kids' dreams are where they're staying, and they're like, oh, we can't go outside. We can't leave the premises. Your premises
Yeah,
is
big whoop.
massive.
Big whoop. Yeah, I can't leave my premises. It's
Yeah.
a
So what? Yeah.
5x5 closet. They got a Disneyland.
I have a laptop and a couch. You have Disney World. I mean, come on. Are you serious? So when I get where they're coming from. They're like, oh, we can't do what we want. Well, no, you can't do what you want because if you go outside the premises, some random guy from Florida, oh my God, it's LeBron James. Can I get a picture? He coughs on you. You got COVID.
So basically, what they're doing is
There
they're
you go.
closing.
Spreads like wildfire.
They're closing Disney World off to
Right.
NBA players. Is that what they're doing? Pretty much.
Yeah,
At least
I
the
think
world
it's
of
just
sports.
like the amenities they can use, not like the rides.
Right.
or
Yeah,
anything.
imagine that.
That'd be cool.
But I've been there. This is a huge complex.
Uh-huh.
It's massive, no?
These guys have nothing to cry about. I'm telling you. And they're in
Oh, yeah.
Florida. If they're in Iceland or something like that,
Yeah,
freezing their
it's
butts off.
Orlando.
Yeah, it's
Are
Orlando.
you serious? It's not even. I mean, it's literally a joke when I heard like they're complaining.
I didn't know. I didn't
You're
know
like
anyone
the
was
happiest place in the world is Disney World
Mhm.
or Disneyland. I don't even know what the difference.
Disney World.
It's
Disneyland's in California.
Disneyland's in California. All right, there you go.
I thought they
So
were interchangeable.
yeah,
No,
honestly, so
Johnny, come on, man.
I'm
Come
sorry.
on, don't do
I'm
this.
sorry.
so there won't be like Mickey Mouse running around and
No, well, there will be Mickey Mouse, yeah, but he will be a lot less cheery.
yeah, he'll be fangirling over the NBA.
Yeah, I'd be like,
players.
oh my god.
I would, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they're gonna keep him, I want to say locked up, but they'll have to stay on the Disney World. I gotta get that right. Disney World complex.
World.
So this is interesting. So the players, everyone's scheduled to arrive starting on June 7th. I think Toronto is going to be one of the teams that's going to practice there. So Toronto's going. Maybe they're going. Right,
July 7th.
Yeah, July 7th. They're going to. It's going to be on a staggered basis. So I guess not all teams arrive at once.
Makes
Everyone's
sense.
going to have their scheduled time, and then they have to quarantine.
2
They have
weeks?
to quarantine, not for 2 weeks, no, but they have to quarantine until they've tested negative twice. So they test negative, and then
They
they
get
wait
tested
24
again.
hours, and they test negative again. If
Then
they
you're
test negative
clean.
twice, they're good to play. But if not, they're quarantined. So I guess they're in a hotel room until then. that's gonna suck. Hey, being in a hotel.
You
room.
got room service. You got
Do
TV.
they though? Do they get room
Bring
service?
a
They
PlayStation.
for sure do.
Oh no
For sure do.
question. No
I don't know, yeah, but
question.
it's-
I heard they had like a VIP like butler
Really?
on call for them to do whatever they need. Go get them.
Jeez.
I wish.
Still like.
I just
You're
have my
gonna
mom.
apply? Are you gonna apply to be an NBA butler?
I wish.
I would hate that. Are you kidding? I would hate to be.
I would love it. You get to be
You get to
rub,
meet them,
rub
yeah, but then you're
shoulders
like,
with the other
hey.
players. Then they say, clean my laundry.
Yeah, clean
yeah.
this. You know.
You can
Yeah.
steal one of their jerseys. I don't
Oh,
know.
I for
and
sure
sell
would.
it. This is LeBron. Yeah.
This is
It's
LeBron,
so-
I'd
a
steal
Corona
LeBron's-
jersey.
This is we've never seen, like, obviously we've had seasons been canceled before because of lockouts.
Mhm.
We've never seen this ever before. So it's going to be, I think the first few weeks of this will be like a filling out process, just getting everything under control. But I feel like
For sure.
when the games start to go, the NBA will be back. But I don't know, how many courts do they have? Is there like different, there'll be games playing at the
I don't
same
know.
time,
I assume
right?
it's.
gotta
I
get
assume
through.
they have a big complex. I'm assuming they got to have multiple courts.
Okay.
Oh, they got everything. They got tennis.
No,
golf.
but like the basketball courts. How
Oh.
many is
Oh.
there? Just like there must be a few
There
courts.
must be a couple because they
yeah,
can't have.
and even if they have to build some, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But like,
It's not like fans are gonna be there anyway.
because I think
True
there's,
that.
Just playing a black
I
top.
think, yeah, there's definitely like a legitimate basketball court, but there's no fans there. So do they need like big venues? Or
Yeah,
can
we're
they
not
just have a
saying you
court?
need like
Because there's definitely multiple courts.
Staples Center. We're
No.
saying you
No.
just
You just need two hoops and some paint on the floor.
exactly and
Yeah.
indoors. That's all you need.
Mhm.
And if you have that, then you are totally fine. And I can't wait for that. Sports has been gone too long.
Me too.
The UFC's great. It's once every week, so you got to wait a week.
Right.
You got to wait a week. You got to wait another
Yeah,
week.
I'm more
and
of
then you
a
got to wait another week.
Team sports kind of guy too.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, golf was back last weekend, thank God.
Right.
I got something to watch a few days in a row. It's great that golf's back. Tennis is looking to be back. So
Yeah.
sports are slowly coming back. And, Gav, speaking of sports, the NFL, I can't believe we're addressing this. I might cry throughout this segment. Gav, why don't you tell them what we're talking about
So-
next?
Recently, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have come out with the very first images of Tom Brady wearing a Tampa Bay Buccaneers uniform. And I didn't think much of it because I knew he was going to be on it, and ESPN's been editing. Tommy, you're hitting your head on the mic. there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're wreaking havoc on the sound systems. Of our
Yeah.
listeners. Anyway,
You're breaking your pay for
because
it.
ESPN these days, they do such a good job editing, right? They do such a good job just editing, cropping his face.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I feel like I've been
Jersey
seeing him.
swaps and stuff. Yeah.
I feel like I've been seeing him in a Bucs jersey.
That
for
was
like
real.
2 months.
That was real.
And then this is him in a real uniform. And yeah, it didn't mean much to me because I know that's who he's gonna play for.
Right.
But Tommy, as a lifelong Pats fan, how'd that make you feel?
almost dead inside almost. It was like it wasn't even real. Like I'm almost tearing up about it, but like it's like, oh my god, it wasn't I couldn't believe it. It's like I think it'll really hit when the first game comes on and Jarrett Stidham walks onto the field.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be.
And
a,
it'll be like, oh, where's Tom Brady? What's
that's gonna
going
be a
on?
kick in the nuts, Tommy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. And then you're gonna see him. Where's Tom? Oh, he's playing for the Buccaneers now. Really though, if you told me a year ago that Tom Brady would play for another team, I'd think, oh, there's no way in hell
Ridiculous.
he's playing for Tampa. That's a terrible franchise. Well,
You know when they make like those like back
Oh,
in
my-
like Back to the Future and they predict 2015, it's the most ridiculous thing ever.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, sure.
Hoverboards and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, what if you were a kid and you're watching a little Back to the Future movie and Brady was on the Bucks? You would cry. You would.
I've been
you
like,
would
this is
laugh.
the worst movie
Yeah. What kind of
ever.
unrealistic stuff is this?
What is this? Yeah, like, come on. I remember when Back to the Future predicted the Cubs would win the World Series, and they were a year off.
Right.
Remember they
were,
went
yeah.
to 2015, they won in 2016. He's like, Cubs win World Series, and they were a year
Yeah.
off.
But Tommy,
That would have
crazy.
been
That would've been
Spielberg's
nuts.
on something else if he would have
It's
gotten
like the
that right.
Simpsons calling everything. But Tommy, I mean, we saw Brady. Just wait till Gronk comes out. How are you gonna feel when Gronk's picking
Gronk
up?
less so. Gronk less so, because players come and go. That's
Legends
life.
never die.
Legends, yeah, exactly. Good line, Cap. But Tom Brady has been there before I was born.
Mhm.
Before any of us was born. Like Gronk was there in 2010.
That's true. Gronk is more recent.
So I remember the days without Gronk, and even last year Gronk wasn't there.
Yeah,
so-
Gronk is a bit overrated at this point.
Well, okay. Well, at this point,
Yeah,
probably.
at this point.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Brady's for sure been there forever. And there was I saw some pictures yesterday, and it was like comparing the first video game Brady was in and the most recent one.
Yeah.
And the first one, I could have coded it. Honestly, it was like, it was just a human.
Madden,
it wasn't Tom Brady. It was just
12 pixels.
a male
yeah.
figure.
Madden
yeah.
2001
I could count
or
the
something,
pixels.
right?
Madden 2001. I could count the pixels without a magnifying glass.
Right.
There was like 6 of them. And then you see the next one. You see the sweat dripping down his face. You see you can see his thoughts. That's how good the graphics are.
Well, it's gonna be very weird because when it came out, it was kind of disbelief, right? You're like, Tom Brady's a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You're like, oh my god,
No way. Yeah.
no way.
When that
Shock
happened.
fact, it was more shock than anything. And then now I kind of forgot about it. I mean, you forget about it. The draft comes along. All right, they're not focusing on it too much. And then when the pictures come out, and maybe it could help because of COVID, there was no media day, there was no press conference with him sitting behind all the Buccaneers, the logos, him answering questions. There was none of that. So you're like, all right.
Right. That softened the blow a bit. Yeah.
And then you see him in the pewter and red of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Pewter.
That's the color. They're pewter gray. And not the most attractive colors by any means.
No.
The jerseys are way better than they were last year. But
That's for sure. Yeah. They did upgrade the jerseys.
yeah. But when I saw him in the jerseys and he's like LFG and he's not in a
no.
Patriots uniform anymore.
Oh no.
Where is he? Yeah. You know,
Oh no. Poor you.
that's all good. You know, I'll get off. He's got me 6 Super Bowls. I can live, you know.
Yeah. You'll,
6
you'll
Super
survive
Bowls. So
somehow.
I've witnessed the most Super Bowls ever in a 20-year period.
Yep. Right. To tie with what?
So that's not like,
Steelers?
and the Patriots fans aren't going to be like, boo Tom Brady. They still love Tom
Yeah,
Brady.
you can't boo Tom Brady. He gave him 6, like you said, he gave him 6 Super Bowls.
It's like if Larry Bird were to leave at the end of his
Right.
career and they didn't want him, but like you understand. Let's say he wanted to
Right.
go to the Pacers or go back home to Indiana.
It's like this guy right here when he went to the Lakers. They don't boo him like
They don't boo him in Cleveland because he got him a chip.
In the ring.
Well, Tom got him 6. So I feel like, you know what, if I got you 6 rings, I can go and retire in Florida for a few years, right? So it took a while, Gav, to answer your question, to get used to it. It'll still take a while. You know, I think I'll forget about it in a few days, just like go back to my regular routine. And then when opening kickoff of the 2020-2021 season happens, because there's rumors there won't even be a preseason.
Right.
So when the first game comes around, that's going to be a wake-up call.
Oh, it is for sure,
And
Tommy.
I'll be crying into my pillow, definitely.
Tommy, think of it as a relationship.
All right.
You've been dating Tom Brady.
Dr. Gav here.
You have been dating Tom Brady and the New England Patriots.
20 years.
Tom and Tom.
Yeah, 20-year relationship.
Well, 19 and change.
19 and change. And you know what? You saw it coming. You just weren't feeling each other anymore.
Did I not call it when we were watching
Oh
the
no, you
Pats
did call
Vikings?
it.
Pats
I
Titans
believe
game?
I won a bet. We had a bet. You said he was going to the Chargers.
I was one team off.
One. Yeah. Okay.
No one thought of Tampa at that time, eh?
No one.
It was Tennessee, San Diego, whatever. The Chargers and the Colts was another
Right.
team.
I honestly
people were
thought
thinking.
I honestly thought he was gonna stay.
Me too. That was
I thought he was gonna
I
stay.
put my money on State.
I knew it.
I didn't put my money. I put my money on anyone but the Chargers. I was a smart man, Johnny. You see, I'm
I
very
can see
very.
that.
See, he didn't
intelligent
go.
man.
I can see
Because
that.
I thought I had him because I thought he was gonna go. Oh, he's going New England. He's gonna stay in New England. I knew the relationship was deteriorating fast, and if you watch like every Patriots game, you see Brady and Belichick.
Yeah.
You knew it was done.
It was
So
the beginning
after
of the
that
game.
game, when they lost, I'm like,
Yeah.
if he won a Super Bowl, maybe he stays. But when
Maybe.
they lost that, I'm like,
Remember when
it's
they lost
done.
to the Titans, I remember you
It's
saying
done.
that could have been the last game.
I said,
ever saw
I think I said that's the last time I saw Tom Brady in a Patriots uniform. Maybe he comes back for a year, like the retired.
Be very surprised if that
No.
happens at this point.
Well, we got Stidham. What do we need Tom Brady for?
Exactly.
Clemens returning to the Yankees. Yeah, you got Stidham. Yeah, you never know, man.
Might as well sign Cap
not-
at this point.
It's not exactly.
Honestly, man.
It's not
Brian
exactly
Hoyer's
like
the backup. Feels like Brian Hoyer. He's left and come back 20 times. Brian Hoyer.
Brady
I didn't think-
wasn't
I thought he was
exactly
retired.
Sorry, go.
No, go ahead, guys.
Well, I was gonna say Brady wasn't exactly like you didn't know that this was gonna happen when he came in for Bledsoe. You didn't know it was gonna happen. You didn't know he was gonna.
I mean,
give
the
you
greatest-
60
That's very true. Maybe
Yeah.
Jared Stidham.
So
is
maybe
the
Jared
next
Stidham
guy.
comes out of nowhere.
Could be. If he is, I'm the happiest man alive.
I'll
If he
bet-
gives me 6
I'll bet
Super
money he
Bowls in the
does
next 20 years.
If he does it, then there's just something about New England. There's just something about New England.
Well, this is the other discussion people were having, and we were having this at school. And then people were like, is it Brady or is it Belichick? Is it Brady or is it Belichick?
It's Brady.
I personally think it's Tom Brady. And that's nothing to take away from Bill Belichick. I still think he's a great head coach. He's made a few bad decisions I don't agree with, but that's neither here or there. Or if Trevor Park Boys was it, that's neither there no.
Just mess it up and then you'll have
Yeah, exactly. When Belichick was the defensive coordinator for the Giants when Lawrence Taylor was there, and they won 2 Super Bowls. All right, but it was Bill Parcells. It was his team. He goes to the Browns in the mid-'90s, and the Browns actually got worse when Bill Belichick was the head coach. Like
he had a below 500 record as the coach.
Terrible. And people were like, oh, it's Cleveland. The Browns in the early 90s were making the playoffs and stuff, and they almost beat Denver a few times. They had a great team. Belichick was there 4 or 5 years. They made the playoffs once. And he was supposed to go to the Jets, and then that didn't happen. Ends up coming to New England. And the first year he's there, they went 5-11. Not good at all. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's not that good.
The next year, in that offseason, they draft a kid named Tom Brady. Who knew? 6 rounds. Yeah. We'll just take this guy from Michigan, Tom Brady. 199. 199.
199? Oh,
yeah. Well, one off, Johnny. What the hell?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, Joe. And then they went 0-2. Gavin's parents were there playing the New York Jets on Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
Drew Bledsoe rolls out in the pocket, and he gets hit by, I think it was Mo Lewis or one of those guys. Injured. In comes this 6th-round draft pick from Michigan. Drew blank there.
Happens.
And they went on a roll. And they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. Rest is history. So before Tom Brady, as soon as he got into the NFL, was winning, Belichick, as a head coach, wasn't winning anything. He wasn't winning anything.
He was on the downwards, whereas Tom was on the up.
Yeah, and I get Tom. Those defenses were great that New England had, and they had the best kicker in football. That of course helps.
That does help.
But it's something in the locker room. Something changed when Tom Brady walked in through the door. It just changed the whole environment. And it's been like that, like you said, Johnny, for 20 years or 19 and a bit years.
Right.
And the one year I realized that Tom Brady is the man was actually a year when we lost the Super Bowl to Philadelphia.
Interesting.
Nick Foles and the Eagles put 41 points on the Guru's defense, the Bill Belichick.
Right.
He's a genius. Okay, maybe he is. Tom Brady threw for 500 yards, and we still lost. We just needed one stop. They needed one stop in that game.
And they couldn't get it.
They couldn't get. What is it? I remember we were down, and then Brady led them back. They were winning,
right.
And then they went down the field and scored. Everyone's like, "Oh, well, Brady fumbled the ball on that play to win the game." There were still 3 minutes left, people. Like, come on. Nick Foles probably would have went down the field and scored. Anyway, he threw for a record 500 yards. And if the year earlier when he came back from 28-3 wasn't enough to prove he was the GOAT,
right.
He in a losing effort, he throws the most passing yards ever to, like, Chris Hogan. Brandon Cooks got injured that game.
Right, yeah, oh, my God. Yeah, he got hurt.
So he's throwing to Chris Hogan. Edelman was injured in the preseason. So he's throwing to Edelman, Amendola, and Gronk. And then they had, I forget who the other receiver they had. They had like another terrible receiver running around the field. I forget his name now. And that was terrible. And then, I mean, I can go on. The 07 season, the one time he had a Hall of Fame receiver, they went 16-0. He had 50 touchdowns. Like, what elite receiver did he have in his career? Randy Moss.
Yeah, Randy Moss, yeah.
And then Gronk, maybe?
That's quite a receiver, though, Randy Moss.
I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot worse.
Peyton Manning had Reggie Wayne. He had Marvin Harrison. He had Dallas Clark. He had everyone. Brady had Randy Moss.
Wes Welker.
Welker was a nobody. Welker was getting cut left, right, and center. He was a punt returner, and Brady turned him into a Pro Bowler.
That's what Brady does.
Edelman was a quarterback in college.
Was he actually? I didn't
He
even
was
know
the
that.
quarterback at Kent State University, and they took him like in the 7th round. And then Belichick, smart, he's like, I'm going to use you for punt returns.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Welker thing, Welker wanted a ton of money, and they let him go. He went to Denver. They bring this little kid named Edelman, who's been better than Wes Welker.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Brady does that. I remember people said you can take a random guy from Dorchester, Massachusetts, bring him onto the field, give Brady a week with him, and he can play on Sunday. That was for 15 years. That was the case. I mean, so the Brady Belichick conversation is an interesting one. I bet a lot of people watching think, oh, if Belichick, it was his defenses who won the first 3, or it was Belichick who won that one against the Rams. If it wasn't for Belichick, okay, fair enough. But personally, the stats speak for themselves. When Belichick did not have Brady, they didn't win. When Brady's
Very
there,
true.
he wins. And they bring up the Matt Castle year when Matt Castle won 11-5. That was the 16-0 team. It was the year after.
Right.
So they still had Randy Moss. They had Wes Welker. They had Lawrence Maroney. They had all these guys. Their defense was sick. And they went 11-5. They didn't make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So if Tom Brady was in there instead of Matt Castle, they could have went 16-0 again. Who
They
knows?
probably would have.
Who knows? He got injured the first game
Yeah.
of the year against Kansas City.
Right.
So, I mean, you're a Brady over Belichick guy.
For sure. Oh, yeah.
I'm 100% Brady over Belichick. Gav, you...
If I had to choose one,
If you had to... Okay, beginning of their careers. We're talking 2000. You had to pick a guy for the next 20 years. Like, who would you have picked?
at 2000, I would have I mean,
You get Belichick coaching your team for the next 20 years, or you have Tom Brady would be quarterbacking your team for 20 years?
probably it's easy to say that in hindsight, right? But back then, I don't know, I would have chosen neither. And
No, well, if you look at 2000, no one would have taken those guys. It
No,
would have been...
absolutely. But no, I mean,
Who would have been Brett Favre? Probably was the guy back then. Peyton was still a baby, so it was probably Brett Favre back then.
Mm-hmm.
But Gav, you probably would have taken Brady or Belichick if you had to.
I'll say Brady because I think
Good answer.
As good as a coach is, still needs players.
Very
That's the
true.
other thing. Like coaches.
That's the biggest thing. You could have the greatest playbook in the world. If you don't got guys to go out there and do it properly, it's not going to work.
Well, if you look, Johnny, I know this was the case for your Giants, but with it was Tom Coughlin, right? He's a good. Remember, he was a good head coach. He was a good.
He was okay. Yeah.
Was it you say there was the team that won him your 2 Super Bowls, or was it the coaching that won him your 2
The
Super
team
Bowls?
that won those Super Bowls. Yeah, obviously.
But when it's the New England Patriots, oh my God, Belichick this,
Right.
Belichick that. I've never
That's
seen
true.
a coach ever get the credit this guy deserves. And albeit he's won 6, so you got to give him some credit.
Maybe Phil Jackson.
I mean,
As a-
but people don't even give Phil Jack.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, it's Jordan. Oh, it was Scotty."
Exactly.
It
That's
was
why
that-
there's a lot of parallels.
What
there.
did Tom Brady do? Because he's got a supermodel wife. He's got hundreds of millions in the bank. We got to take away from this guy. I mean, it's ridiculous. I've never seen a coach who's won as much as Belichick has, or just win in general, who get the amount of credit they do. Like you said, Phil Jackson. He had only won 5 with the Lakers.
Right.
Why does no one mention Phil Jackson like that? Why was it the
11
triangle?
rings. Yeah.
Did the triangle lead to all those championships? Possibly, right?
It's because they said he had the star power. But,
Well, if you have a bunch of has-beens
right.
who can't do anything, obviously it's going to be hard to coach. It's hard to bring those. It's not like there's a Coach Carter
Yeah,
everywhere.
You can't coach nobodies, right? Yeah.
I mean, like, this ain't Hoosiers. A new coach comes in and you go all the way. This. It's not a movie. If you don't have the horses, you can't win. You can't.
But I mean,
You
I can
can't.
see it's a good argument to say like they wouldn't have been as good without one another. I mean, people can say like Brady would he have been as good with the worst coach in the league? It's a good question. We don't know. Could Belichick have
Tough to say.
been just as good with the worst?
Well,
In the
we'll
league,
find that
absolutely
out
not.
next year.
We're not saying.
We'll find that out next
We'll
year.
find that out next year. Yeah.
Well, next year we're gonna see the true. This is the true
This,
answer.
exactly. This
But
is
here's
when
the
you're
thing,
going to
here's
find
the
out.
Because this is not even Tom Brady in his prime. If this was the Tom Brady of 4 years ago with Godwin and Evan, there wouldn't even be a discussion.
Oh, for sure.
They would go 16-0, but he's a bit older
They
now.
go 19-0, Tom.
Got
I
19.
you
think
kidding me?
there's a way. There's a way to figure out who's better, or
Go for
who's. So you think
Okay.
could Tom Brady have been as good with someone else other than Tom Brady, with someone other than Belichick?
Yes.
Where is he going?
Probably.
Mhm.
Right?
He would.
Could a guy like Belichick have been as good with not with someone other than Tom Brady?
Well, like,
someone
if
worse
it's-
than Tom Brady?
Mhm.
Probably. Not.
I mean, would he have been successful with Peyton Manning? Probably.
Probably.
Because
someone worse.
Peyton
Okay, if they both had-
Mannings ain't just growing
Yeah,
on a
but
tree.
they're on like the same.
They're like on the
yeah.
same level.
If
Aaron
they-
Rodgers is a bit below that. Drew Brees.
But still, even them, they're still.
It's Peyton. Would
Yeah.
have been the only other one you could have.
Let's say
Yeah.
they both had the worst. Tom Brady with the worst coach in the league, or Bill Belichick with the worst quarterback in the league.
I'm taking Brady.
Who would be
Yeah,
better?
Brady, for
100%.
Well, if you
For
look
sure.
at bad coaching, Andrew Luck was dragging the Colts every year of the playoffs. They had Chuck Pagano was a terrible head coach.
Mhm.
And they were going to the playoffs every year. You know why? Because Andrew Luck was the quarterback.
Right.
So it offsets, right? And it's crazy to suggest that if Belichick had Jared Stidham, I remember people were talking about, they're not going to skip a beat. What?
They're going to fall off a cliff, Tommy. Are you kidding me?
Nice analogy. The falling off a cliff. Nice one. And then now Kellerman said it's a ravine now. It's a ravine. It's not a steady decline. Well, obviously, if I look that good at 43, I don't know what I would do. My wife would be very happy. I'd be so happy if
he's playing in Tampa.
I remember all the comments on the picture were like, if I look that good at 43, like, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Tom Brady,
He's my man
He's
crush.
a star on and off the field.
Gav knows it's Keanu Reeves and Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, well, I don't do anything that I will regret, but sure.
Yeah, don't say
Keanu Reeves, both.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm not giving you my list, Tommy.
You don't have to.
Yeah,
you don't have to. I'm very public about my list.
Man crush, man crush.
They're out there. Gav has them. You have them.
Okay.
Off on the man crush thing, but all I said is he's 43 and he looks like he doesn't look 43.
No,
he looks young. Let's just say that he looks young.
Yeah.
He eats avocado ice cream. His diet's
avocado ice cream. That's disgusting.
Yeah, just because he eats gross stuff doesn't mean he looks good. He looks good because
he eats like grass.
Is that what he eats to like throw up and lose the weight?
It could be.
Could be.
But he looks incredible, and he says he feels like he's 25.
Well, hopefully he plays like he's 25.
I put money. I put the diet where my mouth is because I picked him to win the NFC. Let's see if that happens. I know you went on a limb and picked the same Super Bowl as last year.
What do you think the odds are that Jared Stidham has a better season than Tom Brady?
A better what season? Better rookie season?
No, like a better season.
Better.
Just this coming
Zero.
season.
Puts up better numbers than
Tom Brady.
Do you want to put like a bet on it? Or
okay, well, Johnny.
No chance.
Yeah, Johnny would make $1
million.
You
want to bet on Jared Stidham? We didn't know who he was.
I'm just saying. It's not that far fetched,
I remember like a few months ago, we're like, what do you think about Jared Stidham? I'm like, who? They're like, Jared Stidham. I'm like, you mean the backup? I'm like, yeah, he's all right. They're like, yeah, what if he tell you he's going to have a better statistical year than Tom Brady next year?
You never know.
Better golf? Golf or football?
Yeah, he's probably a better golfer than Tom Brady.
Maybe playing golf pretty early.
I don't know. Tom was playing a lot this year.
What's that?
So Tom was playing a lot of golf this year.
He's playing a lot of golf.
Well, thank you. But no, to answer your question, zero. No, there's always a chance.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't do that to him. 90. I'll go 98%. I'll give him a 2% chance.
98. That's very.
Because what if Brady gets hurt? Knock on wood.
That's a fair point. I don't know. I think that's more
Brady
like.
Gets hurt, and then
Jared Stidham.
Right.
Let's say Brady goes 1 for 1 for 20 yards. That's his season, and then Jared Stidham automatically just got.
Well, I think injuries would, delay that.
When we could just go in the next year.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He's not. If you look at Gavin's Jets, right? Let's say Jared Stidham. Let's say Sam Darnold got injured, right?
Like
last year. Like last year. You take last year. That's basically what Jared Stidham's walking into, because with the Jets fans, it's Sam Darnold or bust, right? Then he got mono at 23. I don't even know how that's possible, but he got mono at 23.
Kids get that.
Yeah, like they get him when they're 5.
Yeah.
Not when they're 23.
More like a teenager. I mean,
at 23, Gab.
No,
he's 23.
You're a professional football player. Why are you getting mono? You got to treat your body like a temple.
I think we're going to get Gab on a tangent.
You can't be drinking water bottles that are suspicious. You can't be going to clubs and sharing bottles. You're a football player. You're not getting mono. Like, what is this?
So, yeah, he got mono, right? And then your backup, so then the backup comes in, and it was a disaster.
We had like 4 backups. I don't know.
He had 4 backups.
Honestly, I was next.
But what's the difference between?
That was on the depth chart.
Trevor Siemian was the backup. Well, he was the starter in Denver a few years back, right?
Yeah, didn't he sign a contract with them?
He did,
yeah.
And he joined the Jets.
Yeah,
and he got hurt.
And then he got hurt right away.
But he was terrible in that game.
I know.
Who says Jared Stidham is as good as Trevor Siemian?
And then we had another one. What was the
guy? I think he's better.
Folk or something like that.
Folk. He got cut.
Yeah,
like 2 weeks later. You had like 4 quarterbacks. It was hilarious. But who said? Everyone's like, Jared Stidham.
The thing is, the Jets and the Patriots are two, very different franchises, right? Just because Sam Darnold's backup wasn't good with the Jets doesn't mean that. No offense, guy. Jared Stidham won't be good with the Pats.
Look at New England's offense last year. It wasn't good at all.
Well, it had its ups and downs.
They have Edelman and who else? Name another guy.
Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown.
No,
Antonio Brown.
for a game.
Antonio Brown. That was a good game, though.
That was
It was a really good
that
game.
was a very. I was so stoked. Like,
60
yeah, we
yards and a
got
touchdown.
AB. He's fine, and then Chargers
nothing.
come up, and then there he went. But no, but they don't have a good offense at all. Last year they weren't. It was Brady to Edelman, or that's it. So and they didn't
But
do
the
anything in the
defenses
offseason.
will
Johnny,
carry
they
them.
did nothing in the offseason.
Oh,
they
they
lost.
did lose a couple pieces, yeah.
They lost a piece, and then they
They lost a couple pieces this year, didn't they? They lose
Big time.
Hightower or something else too.
They lost Van Noy. They
Van Noy.
lost the other guy. I forget his name. But then they obviously Gordon's not coming back.
It's true. Flash Gordon, I forgot you guys had
He
him.
ain't coming back. I mean, it's just a disaster. So Jarrett Stidham, people knocked Tom Brady for having a bad season with that weapon. Now they're throwing Jarrett Stidham.
That's why I said,
from
if he
Auburn.
has the better season than Tom Brady did.
It won't. I will put this whole set. I'll put all my future earnings
Okay.
on the Jarrett Stidham will not have a better statistical year than Tom Brady. I think you would all put that too, right? Barring injury.
So Tommy,
Probably.
Barring injury.
you're gonna be at home and you're gonna be with
Yeah,
your
pass
kids.
me the marker.
Okay,
Yeah,
in
pass me the
25
marker.
years,
What are you gonna write down?
you're gonna get home. You're gonna get your paycheck, and your wife's gonna be like, "Why can't we just keep it for us? We need
Yeah,
food."
I know.
And
Sorry.
you'll be like,
I made a
I'm
bet.
sorry, man. I made a bet that Jared Stidham has a Hall of Fame career. You know,
The John
making a
show.
bet. This is
The John show.
the John Show.
Oh,
Tommy's
yeah, we're gonna-
starving.
We're gonna
Yeah,
strip
the
Tom's
back.
and
Stamps.
everything.
Can I just Can I just have one coupon? No.
No,
You. Do you want? I'll put it. I don't even think I have to put it down.
I'll put it down. Let me see. Good.
You're betting on Stidham?
I'll bet on Stidham. I'll put for the sake of the show, Tommy.
No. Don't do this, Johnny.
I'm just putting on the projection board. Jared Stidham's gonna
All
have a
future
better-
earnings.
Jarrett Stidham's gonna have a better year than Tom Brady.
Jared, okay,
That's
make
what
it fun. Make it fun.
But what are we putting on? Are
How
you
do
putting
spell
anything?
Jared?
Put your money where your mouth is, Johnny. What are you putting on this?
The time it takes me to write it onto the board.
No. But like, what are you putting?
That's all I'm investing into.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not that much.
Gav, do you want in on this or no?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So for the people who don't know, last episode we got heated about the Rockets and Nuggets, and I said I would wear a Yankees jersey and a Jets hat if the Rockets were to beat the Nuggets.
that
I have
was-
no fear of wearing that.
That one was a bit more reasonable. This one, like,
This one, that's reasonable. Well, yeah.
yeah, we're wearing.
And then Gavin has to wear a full Patriots outfit, which will
No.
be hilarious. So what do you have? You have Stidham over Brady.
I think it's.
Do you want to do another bet?
bet?
Do you want to do another bet? Like
Oh, nice.
you wear full blown Patriots attire, and I'll wear full blown
Johnny,
Giants attire.
what's your least favorite drink? We'll just have you chug it on camera.
You get
least
iced
favorite
on
drink,
camera.
Yeah, we'll ice you.
We'll ice you on camera.
I hate Coronas. I hate that.
Really, you hate it?
Oh, I hate them. Yeah, I would
Okay,
hate to chug
well.
those on the set.
There's
Do
your
you want to
bet.
do
Your
that?
brother just likes it, and he's saying, "Yeah, I hate vanilla."
Yeah, yeah,
I hate them.
I hate chocolate cake, man. So if that happens, I have to eat a chocolate cake on the set. All right. Do you hate that?
I'm just kidding, Tommy. I don't really care.
Okay, well,
No, you have to put your money where your mouth is.
putting-
What,
You
what
just-
do I hate?
he's
I don't
putting his
know.
life
the
on
pro-
the line
I'm
here.
putting
I don't know.
projection.
Give me like a warm Heineken. That sounds
Okay,
gross.
well, chug a warm.
Can we
Heineken.
work,
That sounds gross.
Kennedy, Gap, can we work that out?
We can
Warm
make it.
Warm Heineken.
Warm or hot?
That sounds
Warm.
terrible.
Warm, not hot. Warm.
A warm Heineken. Not lukewarm. We're talking
No.
like a
Not-
piss warm.
Yeah.
Give it a cold Heineken.
I don't mind that. I don't mind it. Anything cold. It's fine. So for the people at home on the camera, you're watching us. Johnny will drink, during an episode, we'll drink a warm Heineken.
Warm hot or whatever we have.
Or
It could be
warm
Budweiser.
something. Yeah.
A warm Budweiser.
Warm
Just a
Budweiser.
warm beer.
Disclaimer: as a producer,
That's not a Stella.
This is not
That's not a Stella,
This is
yeah.
not an advertisement.
Yeah,
We're not promoting this
yeah.
brand in
Here,
any way.
here we go. Thank you. You have to drink this.
Okay.
So warm. We're gonna put it in the oven, man. It's gonna be the warmest
Put it in
thing.
the
Let's keep
microwave,
it in the
Put it in the
backyard.
microwave.
Yeah, put it in the microwave. That'll
We'll
work.
bury it in the backyard.
That'll be cool though. That'll make it cool.
No, yeah,
That
you're
would
right.
be-
We'll just put it in the backyard.
Yeah, honestly, just leave it outside.
Just leave
But we
Yeah,
won't
leave
know
it.
until December.
That's true, but hey, it's the long run. We'll be here.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll get renewed. Hopefully it's YouTube. We're going to get canceled.
Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Put the beer on the table. At the end of the
Oh,
Tommy's
we're
got
just
the-
going to leave it
Oh,
here?
no, I don't
season,
know.
we're
I
gonna
feel
leave
about
that there.
that.
It's gonna be skunk. It's gonna be
Here,
gross.
I don't know if we're allowed to
No,
show the
don't
logo.
Show the logo. So just.
I don't know. Well, we
Make it-
paid for the beer. Why not? You know.
Well, we didn't pay for the rights, man. I'm telling you.
Well, I bought the beer.
I know you did. You bought it to drink it. You bought the liquor. You didn't buy the rights to advertise.
But Johnny's wearing a Yankees shirt. Is he allowed to
Don't know
show
that.
that? Yeah, well,
Okay,
we're getting taken down regardless
Yeah, we're
now.
getting,
We're getting taken
We
down
got 40
regardless.
jerseys behind
Yeah.
you.
We have
Yes.
40 jerseys. We are done.
At this point,
I think
yeah.
the beer can will
Yeah,
be
that's
the least
of our
of
worries.
Whatever.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So keep
Yeah.
it there. At the end of the season, if it doesn't disintegrate,
Do I
Johnny's
keep?
drinking
Yeah,
that.
it's,
We're leaving it here, and trust me, for the next June. So for the next 6 months, that beer is gonna be sitting
and
there.
then what?
gonna
If
be
I win, you're gonna
fermenting.
drink it, Tommy.
Sure.
Because I could win.
Okay,
Well, yeah. Well, obviously, it's both ways.
loser. You
Alright.
want loser because you're not gonna put your life on it. Loser drinks that. How about that? Loser.
Sounds
whoever
good.
loses
Did you
that.
see the thing like the McDonald's fry, where they left it out for like 2 years?
It's disgusting.
But apparently, it
I'm
tasted
sure-
the
And
same.
it
Yeah,
was
I'm
still
sure
fine.
nothing happened.
There was a teacher at Loyola when we were there who was like, he was doing that. He had like a burger underneath his desk, and he was just leaving it there. Obviously, the bun's gonna get, gross. The sauce is gonna grow, but the meat like stayed fine.
It's kind of disgusting.
It's
Oh,
very
really, Johnny?
disgusting.
That's never what you want to hear.
So because
Yeah.
you bet against a 6-time Super Bowl champion
Well,
against a
a
rookie who no
43-year-old
one knew 12
a
months ago,
43-year-old,
you're
yeah,
gonna
okay.
because of you're gonna drink a warm beer.
Yeah.
Tommy,
Look at that. That
listen,
beer's already warm now. That beer already
No,
went,
it's pretty cold.
it
It's
went up
cold.
3% in alcohol
Oh,
right now.
man.
Yeah, I
Sit
know.
here.
I wonder, you would probably vomit.
No, I can handle it.
Okay.
I don't know,
I get for
John,
sure.
but here's the thing. So
That sounds like people behind the camera. People are full
three
on
people have thrown up. Yeah.
thrown up just
I'm
because
walking and
of
vomiting
the
right now.
sight and
Oh,
the
I thought that
sound
bad.
of you drinking a warm beer that's been sitting out for
But no,
6 months.
Here's the thing. So that beer, we're not going to be out here all. Obviously, if you kept it out here in the summer heat, it would be unbearable. So, but by the time this bet's over, it's going to be cold, right? It's going to be whatever.
But what do we do in the winter? Because in the winter,
We're going to
it's
bring it downstairs, I guess.
We'll bring it downstairs. That's gonna be a hot beer, Johnny.
Put a nice little.
You
blanket.
can. Do you
Put
want
it
to
in a
back?
cozy. Put
It's
it in a
too late.
cozy,
You
too.
put it on the board.
Hey, I ain't backing
Anything
out,
that's on
Tommy.
the
I
board.
ain't
We'll
backing
put.
out.
What did I put on for Tampa? I don't even think
You
I
put-
bet anything.
No, you just put Bucks win NFC and Denver beats
Well,
Houston.
Denver, Houston. That's the one everyone's interested in. Because me
Yeah.
wearing a Yankees
Oh,
jersey
yeah.
and a Jets hat.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
So-
before we make any bets, check if there's an expiry date. Because if there is, we don't want Johnny to die on live camera.
We'll check after. But no, even if there's an expire. No.
We'll just
Honestly,
get-
guys, I don't think
no,
we'll be.
no.
I think we'll be
No.
going through at least 6 or 7 different
Well,
cans
if you're
until that time
drinking-
comes. I don't think we'll be saving the same one.
We'll have met. Your
That's
dad
the
can be
thing.
on standby,
Okay,
right?
my dad will be. What, he's gonna resuscitate Johnny
Yeah,
on
exactly.
camera when Johnny dies from alcohol poisoning?
One. Hey, that was a foolish bet. That was it's a foolish bet.
Oh, we got some.
Wait, I'm just trying to
clickbait
keep
now.
the
We got some clickbait. We'll have Johnny dies
Exactly.
live on
Exactly.
camera.
When the Tommy John Clips page comes out, which is shortly, hopefully, we're gonna have Johnny makes worst bet of all time.
This is gonna be Johnny. But
I never
Yeah,
had
just-
any
Just
hot-
kind of keep the
Johnny-
viewers engaged.
Johnny doesn't hear warm beer. He hears beer, so he doesn't
Yeah,
care.
I hear beer too, but then
I
your
hear
description of the warm beer really, I almost
Dude, it's
vomited
gonna be
into
what,
this mic.
It's gonna. It might even be solid. Actually, I don't know how
That'll
beer
be,
reacts
interesting.
in dark, but it's gonna be.
So
good.
we're gonna keep it here, and every episode you're gonna see when you look at that Budweiser can. And same with you, Johnny. The blasphemy that you spoke.
Blasphemy! Wow.
You're gonna see that beer can and just count down. It's gonna be just mark the days down until the last
Tommy,
day
it's
of the
gonna-
NFL
I'm
season.
gonna be so
and you have
excited.
to chug that
Tommy,
beer.
I can't wait for Jarrett Stidham to throw for 4,500 yards and 28 touchdowns
I'm
with 2
excited to see this.
interceptions.
I'm excited.
I'm
Let's
just saying-
go 14-2.
I'm just saying it's gonna
Win
be
the
a-
Super Bowl.
Okay, but here's the thing, because I want to see Johnny drink this thing.
So do I.
If something, heaven forbid, something happens to either one of these guys, i.e., they get injured and they're out for the season, or it looks like there's no way it's gonna happen, can we just cut the bet, call it off, and Johnny drinks, so we don't have to wait till?
I guess so. I don't mind.
Do you want yeah, we can do that. Barring injury, but we need a little side thing. Here's the thing. How about I say the Patriots do better than the Giants?
That's actually not that bad a bet.
That'll be my bet. So
That could-
Brady, because
wait, that'll
obviously
be
I'm
like-
a huge
okay.
favorite with the Brady thing. It wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fair at all.
That's like I'm picking Nunez against Felicia Spencer. That ain't fair. That's not fair at all. So I say I'll think the Patriots will win more games than the Giants. And if
They're
that
still
doesn't
kind of in the
happen,
advantage there.
they're around the same.
I think the Patriots have better defense. A lot
Okay,
better.
I'm trying to
defense.
I'm trying to extend an all.
I'm just saying. You're saying it's even, but is it?
I think it's pretty even.
Uh-huh.
I think so.
All right.
You don't think so?
Hey, if you like the deal, Tom.
Gav, are you okay with that? So if the Patriots win more than the Giants, or no, the Giants win more than the Patriots, I have to
Write it
drink
down?
one of those. Can we get another one of them out, Kennedy?
Oh,
Number
We're
two.
getting another one out.
Number
So my
two.
beer is going to be sitting over there. I love this. This turned into a gambling show.
This is why we went into the business. Because it's just bets.
We were talking sports originally, and then you brought up. It's only fair.
Well,
Yeah.
we're talking sports.
We are talking sports, and so you put this over there.
Knocking back a few brews while we're at it.
Yeah.
So
could always
my
use an
beer will be
excuse.
sitting there. So I have to write that down. And Johnny, take it away. Do you like my chances in this bet?
Yes, I do, Tommy. Unfortunately, I think that the Patriots have better
When
defense.
you guys are both
better
one of
offense.
you's chugging it.
Better
Kennedy
coach.
and I are just gonna be sitting back, cracking open an ice cold.
You can get in on this. Too.
I'm not getting in on anything, bro. I'm not getting in.
Patriots and Jets? How do you want that one?
No, I'm not. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Patriots and
Yeah.
Jets.
You said the Jets.
Jets
were
will probably have
division
more
a
wins.
week ago.
You must have another friend named Gavin because I did not say that.
I think it was your dad or someone. But yeah, so this is the beer bets. I'll highlight beer. So yeah.
Next episode, we got sued by Budweiser, so
The show's
the
canceled.
show is canceled. We have nothing.
This is our last episode. Sorry.
We can get sponsored by them. Who knows? This could be a
I'd be
great
very-
opportunity to get in by
I'd be very
Budweiser.
It's
surprised.
free product placement. And hey, you know
We're
what you
not
guys are gonna
saying
do?
your beer's bad. We're just saying warm beer
but
is
hey,
bad in
what
general.
if
We
you
could have
drink
picked
That's the truth.
anything.
That's
What if you
inherently
drink
true.
it warm and you're like, oh my god, it's good, and then you discover that
I'd be
warm
very
Budweiser is great, so they
surprised.
start marketing and marketing it as a warm beverage, and now you guys are millionaires and geniuses.
I'd be
We're
very
talking-
surprised if the warm Budweiser tastes good.
Hey Johnny, you,
I was gonna
Very
make
surprised.
a bad Budweiser comment, but they could be a future sponsor,
could
and
be.
we never turn down free advertising.
we still got some more planned on the show. So how
Yes,
do
we
transition?
yes.
That's true.
How do we
It feels
transition?
like it's been a long
Yeah,
episode.
beer is good. You know what else is good? The NBA awards.
It-
So what
they
I'm gonna
are.
have you guys do now, I have a list of the awards right here.
Gav, I'm gonna throw you this marker.
Oh, I thought you were throwing me the beer. I was like, no.
Nope. They're staying there for 6 months.
All right, so I'm gonna go over the top 6 or 7 awards,
All right.
and then you guys are gonna tell me who you think. Obviously, there's not much to go from, but
So
have a
Kemba
good idea.
MVP.
no, we'll start.
Makes
Okay,
sense, makes sense.
We'll start with the coach of the year. So, Johnny, who do you think is gonna be the NBA coach of the year?
Coach
in
of the year.
2020.
Oh
2020.
man.
Yeah.
Am I
2021.
no bias? You can't pick the Knicks coach.
Obviously not. The Knicks don't even have a coach. It's an interim coach at this point. But I gotta probably go with Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse.
Nick Nurse.
That's
Okay.
not a
They
bad
lost.
pick.
They lost Kawhi, and they were still.
They lost
balling
Kawhi.
for top.
They're still
Yeah.
playoff team. So good.
Am I
You
allowed?
tell me?
Tommy.
I won't say Brad Stevens.
You can't say Brad Stevens.
I'm going Frank Vogel of the Los Angeles
Frank
Lakers
Vogel at Los
It's
Angeles
also solid.
Lakers.
because there was a lot of pressure for the Lakers to succeed this year, and as much as it hurts me to say it, they've been the best team in the league so far.
Are
So.
you guys gonna put a bet on this?
Oh no,
Or
you
go
could put
warm,
Budenholzer. You could
Not
put
everything.
You could put the guy from Milwaukee, Budenholzer, right? But
Right. He had a solid season
won last
too.
but he won last year, so I feel like they're gonna switch it up. I'll go Frank Vogel.
All right. Next up is the Kia NBA Most Improved Player.
You have to put the key in there. Most improved player,
That's a
We know
toughie.
who won last year.
Pascal
Siakam.
Siakam.
Pascal.
You know who mine is?
Who?
Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic. Most
Luka
improved, really.
Doncic. Interesting.
He went from 20 a game to like 28
Yeah,
a game.
but wasn't he a rookie and then a sophomore? Isn't it hard to give like the MIP
well,
award from a guy
this
who's
is
a
my
rookie?
opinion. This
Yeah.
is my opinion.
Okay,
I'm not
it's
saying
your
this is going to
opinion.
happen.
It's your opinion.
I just said the person who I think improved the most
Uh-huh.
is Doncic. Tatum's
Okay.
close too. Jason Tatum's really close.
I was gonna say Brandon Ingram. That's my guy for.
That's
MIP.
nice. Well, if we're going that,
I think he had the
yeah.
biggest jump. He averaged 18 points. Now he's averaging 26,
Yeah,
something like that.
but what was Doncic averaging last year? It was like early 20s.
It was probably something like that, low 20s, and now he's high 20s.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Luka Doncic is a top 5 player in the NBA this year, and last year he struggled a bit in the beginning. He picked it up at the end of last year. So I get Ingram. Ingram's a really good pick as well. But
Yeah.
personally, I think Luka Doncic,
Luka Doncic.
went from a star.
He's for sure better than Brandon Ingram.
Oh, no
is,
question. He went from a good young player to now the best young player in basketball. So.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Next, the NBA Defensive Player of the Year. Last year it went to Rudy Gobert, the Utah Jazz.
Yes, it did.
You know, yeah. Who do you guys think is gonna get it this?
You know,
time?
defensive player of the year is always a hard award to give, I find, especially nowadays when people don't really put as much emphasis on defense. But
It's a tough one.
I think AD,
Mm.
Anthony Davis. I don't really know. Maybe Giannis, you could maybe give it to.
I was thinking
the runner-up
Giannis.
last year.
Yeah.
I was thinking Giannis. You can always put Kawhi in there.
Right.
I'll go Giannis. I feel like they're gonna give him the. They love the Giannis. I don't know.
They do like
The
Giannis.
NBA awards just freak out over Giannis. So
I feel like if anything, though, he's going to get MVP.
Well, that award's coming, but yeah,
It's coming.
Giannis for. I'll go Giannis, but another player who's a tremendous defender is no one's talking about because he's injured. Kevin Durant. When Kevin Durant's hurt,
But is
he's
he
one of the best defenders
Is he
in
at the
basketball.
defensive player of the year level? Because that's the That's above.
I
that,
think
you
so.
know? You think so?
He was like leading the league in blocks a few years ago.
I guess that's true.
I'm just saying we forget.
Yeah.
My point is we forget about Kevin Durant just because he's hurt. That
Right.
was my point when
It's a
saying
fair
that.
point.
And say he was defensive player of the
Mhm.
year. But I'm saying when he's available,
Uh-huh.
he's one of the best defensive
I
players. in the
agree.
league. All right, Gavin.
All right, next up, sixth man of the year. Who's winning that?
This is
6 man. Oh man.
Marcus Smart. No, there's so many guys. I feel like Lou Will's just a presumptive 6 man of the year every year because he comes off the bench and he gives you
Right.
18, 20 a game.
I'm gonna say Eric Gordon. I don't even know if he's starting actually. I think he's off the bench.
6 man's tough. It's totally
yeah.
subjective. Do you go on points? Do you go on defense? Do you go?
It's tough to say.
I like Marcus Smart. I'm gonna stick with Marcus
You're
Smart
sticking with
because
Marcus
he
Smart?
is a pit bull when he's out on the court. He is unbelievable. Great on both ends. He's played a lot when Hayward's been in and out of the lineup, but yeah, Marcus Smart. I don't think he's gonna win, but this is just my personal.
Hey, you're entitled.
I'm entitled,
Yeah.
not because he plays for the Celtics. That's not why I'm
Of
picking
course
him
not. Of
at
course
all.
not. Yeah,
That's
no.
the total opposite.
I'm sure
of
that
why
didn't
I'm
even factor into your
This-
consideration.
him playing for Boston had nothing to do with my pick.
Right.
100%.
Mhm.
Gavin, what do we got next?
All right, next up is the NBA Rookie of the Year, which previously went to Luka Doncic of the Dallas Mavericks, who you have
Is my most
as
improved
your
player.
MIP.
I think there's
so-
just one possible choice for this. Maybe.
Don't say it.
What.
I know who you're going with.
I wasn't gonna say RJ. I was gonna say
Oh,
Ja. That was the
I
guy
knew
I'm
you were
going
going to say Joe. I forgot. I actually thought you were going to say RJ, and I was
No
going to
way.
fall off this chair. You picked Joe. Can we count Zion? Has Zion played enough to qualify?
I don't know.
I think he qualifies.
He
but-
qualifies, but he won't win it.
Yeah, he's played what,
But
15
he's
games?
been the
16
best
games?
rookie.
Yeah, but in the games he's played, but who knows if
It's
that
not
would
fair
have.
to the other guys who
Yeah.
have played the whole season.
What do you mean?
But no one's really
Score
played
more
the whole-
points. Zion's played like 20 games. He's
Who
been
knows
amazing.
if he would have played as well in those other 60 games if he played?
We don't know.
So that's why you can't give him Rookie of the Year.
I think so.
You
But this
can't.
is my opinion. I think Ja's going to win.
Mhm.
But you asked me who
Okay,
the
your
rookie,
opinion. All right.
who the rookie of the
You think
year.
it's
I'm
Zion?
getting heated. We got the
I can
beer
tell
debate.
that. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No. I think they're going to give it to Ja.
Okay.
But if you have to ask me,
You would like
my
it to be
rookie
Zion.
of the year,
Mhm.
I think the best rookie this year is Zion. Do you agree with my statement?
No.
Okay. Do you think Ja's had a better rookie year
Yes.
than Zion?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it's close.
Yeah, it's for sure.
Just
It
'cause
it
Ja's
literally
played the whole
comes down
year.
to game played. That's literally what it comes down to.
I think Zion's averaging more, right? Because
Yeah.
he's played. Obviously, that helps.
But he's got the only thing Ja beats him, I think, is steals and assists and games played.
I have no problem with giving it to Ja, but what my eyes tell me is that Zion's the best rookie in the league. So I think
enough.
Ja's gonna win, but I would give it to Zion.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right,
Gav, for
finally-
understanding.
That's I'm very understanding, Tom.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
Gav's like, all right. I'm like, all right, Johnny was gonna pick a fight. So.
I would
Okay,
never.
last but not least, we have the Kia NBA Most Valuable Player. Last year, obviously, went to Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee
Good
Bucks,
pronunciation.
which the runner-up was Paul George of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and then third place, James Harden of the Houston Rockets.
Wait. Paul George was second.
Mhm.
That's what I see here. Before we go into anything,
It's pretty.
do you
Well,
think any of
I
these...
did not
It's
know
pretty
that.
ridiculous,
I thought
yeah.
I thought Harden. So Harden went on that scoring streak and he only
He only got
finished third.
Yeah.
Do you think any of those guys have a chance of getting MVP?
Paul George, no chance.
No chance in hell. Yeah, he played like what, 12 games?
He was. I can't believe. I thought, wow. I did not. This is the kid show as well. Where you learn stuff. I just learned that Paul George finished second in the MVP
The
voting.
more you know.
Over James Harden.
People don't like James Harden, man. People don't give James Harden enough credit.
He like was breaking Will Chamberlain records and he finished third. All right, I'm just surprised. All right, Gav. My MVP pick, who I think the most valuable player in basketball is, without question, it's LeBron James. But I feel like Giannis is going to win it again.
That guy's gonna win.
I feel like LeBron deserves it. The team besides AD isn't that great. And he's been phenomenal before the pandemic.
Very
He
true.
was closed. The gap was like Giannis and everyone else. He's
LeBron,
closed
he
that
did,
gap
yeah.
like crazy. Luka Doncic is up there too.
Well,
I just
my
like saying his
MVP
name.
pick is, LeBron, obviously.
LeBron James.
Obviously.
Not RJ Barrett.
No, maybe in a couple of years.
No Knicks winning the MVP this
I
year.
almost said Marcus Morris, but then I had to
I
had to reconsider.
Well, Gav, who do you think the MVP is?
You know
I
what?
like
You
to
guys
get your
both made good points.
Thanks, Gav.
But I
You
said
guys, I mean, honestly, it's gonna be a toss up between those two guys. Obviously, it's different. It's gonna be different because
Totally
we're playing,
subjective.
You know, are they gonna consider the first season or just this tournament? What are they gonna do for the MVP?
it's
Probably
a regular
the-
season
probably the
award.
whole
It's a regular
season.
season
regular
award.
season
yeah.
award. Okay, so they're gonna consider. All right, so what's done is done. You know, I could see it going to either one.
Mhm.
If I had to put my money on it, probably LeBron. But I could see it. Honestly, I could see it going to Giannis as well.
For sure.
But so none of what they do in the tournament is going to be considered for any awards.
I think just the 8 games, maybe.
Just the 8 games. Okay,
believe
so
so, yeah.
what if someone goes off 50 a game in the 8 games?
Could happen.
that
You
would
never know.
that would raise their stock for sure.
That would raise their stock. So
I wish we made our NBA picks beginning of the year and see where we
Yeah,
off,
that-
because I was full blown Steph Curry was gonna win MVP, because now Durant was
wow,
gone. He's gonna
right.
average 40, and then he broke his hand, so that would have been awkward. But I think LeBron's by far the most head and shoulders the most valuable player in the NBA.
Mhm.
But I feel like, again, they love Giannis. These
They do love
writers
Giannis.
every day I turn on the TV, Giannis running away with the MVP.
they do love Giannis.
So I don't know, but people thought Kawhi was gonna win the MVP, and that hasn't really happened. Like, what happened there, Johnny? Like,
I don't know. I
just
guess he's just
not scoring enough. Like,
yeah. He became even though he is the best player on the Clippers, he is kind of like his what do you call it, reputation. I don't know. Kind of
Yeah.
dropped off. He hasn't been as dominant. He's still a top 3 player in the league. But
No
he's just
question.
not at the top 1 level right now.
and Gav, if we may, can we do a way too early MVP prediction for next year? Do you want to try that?
Yeah, I could try that.
All right, we could switch before the off season. Like when the NBA season starts again in the new year, we'll do it officially. But right now, who's your MVP next year?
That's a good question, Todd. I don't want to go with LeBron again, obviously. But I'm not going to go too far. I'm going to go with Anthony Davis.
That's a good one.
Whoa.
I think
Oh.
Anthony Davis, he might be
The guy who
Yeah.
wow,
yeah.
Anthony
Yeah,
Davis.
I think so. All he has to do is get over that little hump. He has the numbers to
But do you
be
think
an
they would
MVP.
pick an MVP on LeBron's team that's
I don't
not
know.
LeBron?
It depends how much LeBron regresses. Because he's
That's
going
true.
to, after the season, he's got to start
So
going
you think
down.
they're going to have 2 MVPs in a row, the Lakers, and 2 different players?
Yeah.
That's saucy. That's good. I like that.
Saucy guy.
I'm debating between Giannis is going to be there every year.
Right. He's going to be top 3 for his career.
Luka's going to be in the discussion.
Mm.
And the other one that I like, and I think is going to be a dark horse in the MVP voting, I say it every year, Steph Curry, because Klay's going to be healthy. Draymond is a different animal when Klay and Steph are there. Golden State, they're going to have a lottery pick.
Andrew Wiggins, too. Don't forget.
Is he coming back?
Yeah, he's coming back for sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know how he fits into that team, but
Small forward.
I know, but he needs the rock.
Yeah, hopefully he can do more catch and shoot type
But
stuff.
when Steph Curry, before Durant got there, he won 2 MVPs
Right,
in
it
a
was
row.
unanimous, yeah.
And I pick Steph Curry every year when Durant's not there. So I feel like let's keep the tradition going.
Might
But
as well.
I think Luka Doncic is going to be right there. And Giannis every year.
Very
And you
possible,
think
yeah.
LeBron's going to digress that much?
Maybe, well, not that much, obviously, but he's not going to be playing at the MVP level, which he normally is.
It's like he's so far up, like he's so good, that his
exactly.
down years are still, he's a top 5, 10 player in the
yeah.
NBA.
He's just not that number 1 MVP like he was.
It's like Crosby's on the decline a bit, but he was so good. He's still
Right.
top 3 in the league. It's like, and that's what that's where LeBron's falling. I'm like, it's not a cliff, it's a ravine, right?
Yeah, it's a slow
It's a
little-
slow little
decline.
And then when he hits 40 or something,
He retires before he's like Vince Carter, He's not going to be playing that many
he
years.
officially retired, Vince Carter?
Did he? Wow.
Yeah,
Took him long enough.
he's on the Hawks. I don't think they're
He's
making
like,
the
what,
playoffs.
isn't he 45 years old?
That's amazing that he was still in the league for that long. But yeah, so way too early. I have Steph, and you
Anthony
have
Davis.
Anthony Davis. Gav, do you have a way too early NBA playoff prediction or not playoff MVP, for
MVP
next
Zion,
year?
most improved, Lonzo Ball.
Bam, baby.
Trying to get on Tommy's good side.
He said it. He said Lonzo Ball. I was thinking, do I say Lonzo Ball? And then I realized that the comment section would roast me for saying Lonzo Ball. So he's been tremendous. Speaking of Lonzo Ball,
He has
since
been.
Zion's come back, and
It's gonna be a good year for New Orleans next year. I'm calling it right now.
Oh, yeah. For
What do you
sure.
mean by a good year?
And I'm not drinking any warm beer. They're gonna do well.
You're not. Do you want? We should make a Gavin
Wanna
section.
make a bet on
saying-
that,
No,
Gav?
I'm not drinking. No, I don't
You're
know
not
basketball
drinking
from a hole in the wall. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I like where
So
they're
you
at.
pick Zion to win the MVP next
Yeah,
year?
Yes.
Wow.
That
Hot
is-
take.
That is
Very hot take.
Do you want me to write on the board?
Yeah, sure. Small print.
Small print. Johnny, can you write this?
Yeah, where should I write
You
it?
have better handwriting than I
Gavin
do.
Delaney.
Just put Gav Zion 2021 MVP.
I'll give you.
What do you want on
I'll
that?
give
You
a-
want
I'll
a?
give you
How
a-
warm do you want your beer?
I'll give you a forest green.
A forest green.
Yeah, really small because we have a lot more to talk about. So
Wait.
not today, but like a lot more. to
Yeah,
talk
I'm like
about.
we've been on for a long time. So
we're gonna after this
do we have anything left for?
a small little game, not really a game, but I'm gonna ask you guys a few questions, and I want to see
I like questions.
what you guys think. I know you like questions.
I love the games, and for our listeners at home, they've been asking for more and more games. So because of you guys, we're gonna do more games because that's what people like, and especially during this time of the season, especially during the pandemic, there's not a whole lot of sports to talk about. And there it is, Gav Zion 2021
Yeah,
MVP.
you know it. Okay, all right.
It's
So here's
being
what we're gonna
blocked
do,
by
guys.
the table.
Yes,
It's
okay.
okay.
So Gav-
Everyone knows, and we'll put a disclaimer. Okay, guys. So here's what we're gonna do: lightning round.
Lightning round.
We don't want to keep our visitors for too long.
No.
I'm gonna ask you guys who you believe the best sports franchise is in each of the four North American major sports
Of all time.
of all time. And then at the end, really quick, I'm gonna ask you which of those teams do you think is the best?
Team of all time.
So like
Best
individual, like.
And I'm not
teams,
talking
right?
about international. I'm talking about the leagues. Like I'm not talking about like the Canada Cup or anything like that. I'm talking about like the NHL, NBA.
like 1998 Man United, you wouldn't
yeah.
know.
Well,
no, our
this
fans
is an
wouldn't.
American show.
Yeah,
Tom.
I know.
Okay,
Absolutely.
no,
so
so-
4 major sports.
For marriage, so we're gonna start with the NHL.
Tommy?
I'll go. I think we were talking about this earlier, Gav. The 80 was it 84 Edmonton Oilers? They had
Yes.
Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Paul Coffey, Yari Curry. I mean, when your top scorer scores 215 points in a year, I mean
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
I mean, I think if you go, McDavid hasn't scored 215 points in the last 2 years, and Gretzky did it in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they won 4 cups in a row. I mean, no question.
Right.
What do you think?
I agree with you, Tommy. It's like you say, no question.
And a lot of people in Montreal would be like, why aren't you picking the Habs teams from the 70s? I'm sorry. The Edmonton team would skate circles around you guys. I hate to say it.
Very
Sorry.
true.
We have Habs fans here. I'm sorry. Wayne Gretzky's the greatest hockey player, maybe the greatest athlete of all time. And the roster around him was tremendous.
For sure.
And a Ranger captain, Mark Messier, like you said, Johnny,
Very
on
nice.
that team as well.
All
So
right, now we're gonna ask Johnny. Johnny, what's your favorite Habs? What's your favorite not Habs? I don't know. I'm just guessing. What's your favorite NHL franchise of all time?
My favorite NHL franchise of all time is the 76-77.
just stop. You're saying that because they beat Boston in the final.
I
Just
think
stop.
I know where you're
Just
going.
stop.
The 76-77 Habs were awesome. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Oh, the
Stop
Habs.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, I wasn't
because
sure
they
about
beat
that.
Boston in the
They
final.
didn't just beat
I'm
them.
not.
They didn't just beat them. They swept them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they swept them. They went 60-8 that year.
Yeah.
Ken Dryden, Bob Gainey, Guy Lapointe. Is there more to say? That
I
could
gotta
be the
say,
That's your
franchise of all
best
time.
team
You
ever?
took the words out of my mouth, Gavin. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Larry Robinson.
My dad was in grade 6, and you're bringing up the trying to throw Boston shot at me.
No shot.
You guys going low blow on us. As that was the end of Bobby Orr's career too, and you knew he had bad knees at that point. That was low on your
Okay,
part.
sorry.
You're a Rangers fan.
Honestly,
You're a Rangers
Tommy,
fan, and
I
you're
don't know
doing
what I'm
that.
talking about.
You're a Rangers fan, and you're doing that to me. Thanks, Gav. All right, what else?
Okay, now
so
lightning-
did you think the 76 Habs are the greatest
I
team
agree.
ever?
I mean, the Penguins are up there too. But I also think the Edmonton, the Oilers.
You can't. Those are the three. It was
Those are the
Lemieux,
three.
Penguins,
Yeah.
Gretzky in the 80s, and
And
then
you could
dare
also-
I say the Habs
You could
of
throw
the
the
70s.
Islanders in there in the
Yeah, the
80s
Islanders are
because
good.
4 straight cups at the same.
What
but
about
like
the
I-
Red Wings in the late
You could
90s?
say the Red and even early 2000s. Yeah.
What about the 2011 Bruins?
We could name every team in the history of the NHL right now, and we have a lot of good arguments. But like I said, it's a lightning round. We got to keep going. So,
And Catherine, the Blackhawks teams recent were
early
tremendous
yeah,
as well.
the Blackhawks, the Kings. There have been some good franchises lately, but nothing compares to the Edmonton Oilers in the 80s, the Penguins in the 80s, and the Habs in the 70s. That's what I think. So we're gonna switch. Now we're gonna go to the Major League Baseball. Association of Baseball Arts.
You go first, Johnny. I know what my answer is, and I don't want to say it.
I think we both have the same answer.
I think everyone has the same
I
answer.
think everyone has
I think it's hard to go wrong with
Murderers
Murderers
Row.
Row.
So for those that don't know, the Murderers Row, the 1927 New York Yankees, they had a record of 110 and 44. That's ridiculous. First of all, ridiculous. Played at Yankee Stadium. Obviously, they won.
Yeah, go for their lineup.
They swept the World Series over the Pittsburgh Pirates. I could have just told you what baseball is right now, and you would still know some of the guys on this team.
Oh, no.
Such as Lou Gehrig,
Babe Ruth.
And yeah, I mean, if you don't know who Babe Ruth is, then
He's the guy with the chocolate bar.
You've been
right?
drinking too much. Oh yeah, good one. Yeah, he's the guy from The Natural, right?
He's
Big
the guy
fat who strikes out. Yeah.
No.
All right. Yeah. So great team. That's the baseball in the Sandlot. Remember, isn't it that the baseball?
Yeah, in the if you people haven't seen the Sandlot, amazing movie. The ball at the end is the Murderers Row ball of the 1927 Yankees. And as a Red Sox fan, Bert hates me. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's no question the Murderers Row Yankees.
You can't.
And then the second best team ever is probably the 98 Yankees.
98,
Yeah.
And
That's
the
what I
third
was
best
debating.
team ever is probably the 50s Yankees. I mean, because you just buy all your players.
Well, they want to play for us. So well, at least we're not,
baseball, hey, they can do it, man. There's nothing saying
There's
they
no
can't do
salary
it.
cap.
There's no salary
Shout
cap.
out to the Red Sox owner who sold Babe Ruth for a theater play.
Yeah, $10,000 for a theater
So
play.
your people don't know. In 1918, Babe Ruth played for the Red Sox. They just won a World Series, and the owner wanted to make a play. He wanted his own theater play, and the only way that they got the money was if they sold one of their players. And the New York Yankees said, "We will give you $10,000 if you give us Babe Ruth," and he did it. And they call it the Curse of the Bambino, because from 1918 to 2004, the Red Sox never won a World Series.
That was
like
a good play,
86
though.
year.
That was a good play. The play that guy made.
I can't even. Could anyone say the name of the play?
Hamilton, I think.
It wasn't Hamilton.
No, sorry.
The Phantom of the Opera. Nope, it wasn't any of
Was
that.
it a grease or
It was-
hairspray? No.
It was one of those ones, Gav. But imagine that. It better have been.
It's crazy.
It could better have been like a Shakespeare play or something to sell Babe
probably-
Ruth
it
for
probably fell through.
$10,000.
You kidding
That could have
me?
been Romeo and Juliet. It wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it. The Curse of the Bambino.
Exactly.
And then if you look at all the events that happened in Red Sox history, just bad luck everywhere.
Yeah.
Until 2004 when we conquered the Demons, and ever since then we've been
Unfortunately,
fine.
unfortunately,
All right.
2004.
We're gonna leave the diamond. We're gonna go to the gridiron right here. What's your favorite? What do you think is the best NFL franchise of all time?
Franchise.
Franchise. That's what
I
we
mean team.
team. Yeah, franchise. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Team.
You could probably go with one of those early 2000 teams.
Yeah.
Like,
But-
early
there
2000s.
you go.
But I'm
2007.
gonna go with the 85 Bears.
85 Bears. Me too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thanks, Gavin. Yeah.
85 Bears. For those that don't know, 15-1-0. They won the NFC. Obviously, they won.
Yeah, who'd they beat in the Super Bowl?
They were led by Mike Ditka. Who did they beat? I don't know. I can't.
The New England Patriots.
Oh wow.
Whatever time you asked.
What are
like
the odds that
you
two of our
know.
favorite teams, Johnny, beat the Bruins and the
And-
Patriots?
Yeah.
But they won the 85, obviously. Great team, and even better people, Johnny.
Oh, for
Great.
sure.
But if you look at,
For
we
sure.
got New England got destroyed.
Yeah.
That was like in the 80s, so it was like 40-10 or something. It was bad. That's the best
that's
defense ever.
Yeah, for sure. Head and shoulders above.
So all I gotta say is, if David Tyree doesn't catch that pass, the 2007 Patriots are head and shoulders the greatest
Well, he
team of all
did.
time, because they would have won 19-0. They would have had the MVP in Tom Brady, the greatest year of all time in Randy Moss, if they would have won.
True.
And then that
You like this hat on, Tommy?
Johnny
I
had
wore
to
it-
turn
I
his
wore it
hat
just
around.
for you.
Johnny turned his hat
I wore it
around.
just for you.
David Tyree. Wow. I remember
If it
watching
wasn't for David Tyree, are you picking the 07 Patriots? Yes.
Yeah, but
Right?
unfortunately,
Well,
David
yeah,
Tyree.
It would be a
happened.
bit more. It would have been a bit more clear who the best team was. Kind of
Right.
like it is in baseball, the Murderers Row, and our next topic,
Well,
basketball.
hold up. So I haven't made my pick yet. I said if David Tyree,
Oh, okay. I thought you. Sorry.
if that pass doesn't happen, head and shoulders, it's the 07
I agree.
Patriots.
I agree.
But it did happen.
But it did.
But it did happen. So we can't go the 07
Very
Patriots.
fortunately.
Because it's hard to justify picking a team that didn't win the Super Bowl being the best team of all time. And there's so many Patriots teams to pick from.
Yeah, so many.
There's 6. You
Yeah.
got 6 teams to pick from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 85 Bears.
All right. 85. So
Or-
85 Bears
or-
across.
or-
we're unanimous here.
Unanimous.
Or.
Like the 93 Cowboys.
Okay. Yeah. The Cowboys.
Was
were
it 93, 94? The year they had
America's
Dion,
team.
they had Troy Aikman, Emmett Smith, Michael Irving. I mean, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then the 2000 Ravens was my other one.
2000 Ravens. Good. Okay,
So
guys.
there's so many, but if you had to pick the number one,
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot.
85
That's all.
Bears.
All right, now we're gonna go to the hardwood. What do you guys think? NBA best team of all time.
It's really only one choice. 96 Bulls.
95, 96 Bulls.
Yeah, honestly.
72
And you
10.
had the blasphemy of saying Michael Jordan's not the greatest basketball player of all time.
He's not. We've been over this.
But he's
not.
on the greatest team of all time.
Well, yeah, but you could be on the greatest team of all time and not be the greatest player of all time.
I'm going with the 07 Cavs. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I'm picking the 95-96 Bulls because you have the greatest player of all time in Michael Jordan.
Arguably.
The greatest player of all time in Michael
Arguably.
Jordan. You have Scottie Pippen, right? Dennis Rodman. Come on, Luke Longley. Phil Jackson was the coach. They went 72-10. I know Golden
Yeah,
State
and they
has
won
the 73-9.
They didn't win the ring, though. That's the biggest difference.
That's LeBron's greatest achievement, preventing Golden State from winning that
yeah.
championship. No question. Gav, are you 95-96 Bulls?
I think it's unanimous.
And we do the Celtics teams in the 60s dirty because there was like 9 teams in the league.
We can't give them
And they won 11
credit.
championships
Right.
in 12 tries. We don't talk about that because it's a Boston team. I understand.
Well, we don't talk about it because, like you said, there were 9 other teams in the league. It's not as competitive.
All right. See, we take shots at Boston on this show, and I don't know why.
Well, it's easy to.
It's easy to make shots
Low
at
hanging
Boston.
fruit.
But then again, I mean, sometimes that's not always the best argument because less teams, less players, so the players are better. The players have to be better.
Right.
It's
Good
just
answer,
less-
Joni.
But they're also
Like if the Habs had
Uh-huh.
30 teams, they would have like 2 cups instead of 24.
Yeah, you gotta
I don't
remember
go
you
there,
gotta remember
but
back
you go
then.
there with the Celtics.
Well, you got to remember back then that they had guys playing, working during the day and
You
then
had
playing
guys,
the games at
fighting
night.
in the war.
Yeah.
And then coming home and playing basketball. Like, it's,
It's a
it was a
totally
weird
different
time. It was a
if
weird
you're
time.
going new, like modern day NBA, it's no question the 95,
Okay,
96
no
Bulls.
question. Yeah, no.
But if you're going all time, the
There's a
Celtics of the
There's a
60s have an
Right.
going all
argument.
time.
For
There's
sure.
a conversation to be had.
What
Even
about
those
the
old
Showtime
Lakers teams? Yeah, the
Showtime Lakers? You have Kareem, Magic, Worthy,
Elgin.
and with Pat Riley, the head coach.
Right.
I mean, come on, like you can. There's so many basketball. I find it's easier that there's more great teams because stars are usually the best players. Right? You don't really need a great team if you have 2 Hall of Famers.
Right.
You can win an
That's
NBA
what you need.
championship.
It's it's the only sport where it's more individually based than team based.
Or a team
No
can
question.
succeed with only
Like,
one.
Right.
look
Yeah,
at
that's what I'm trying to say.
Like the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah, that's still.
Who
quite a
else can
team.
like Rick Fox? Rick Fox was the other one.
Right. They also had what's his name? Lamar. Was that? No, they had
No,
Lamar
Odom came
left.
later.
Yeah.
Lamar Odom was later. That's a story for another day. But if you look, like Shaq was an animal and Kobe was a baby and wasn't
For
even
sure.
like prime Kobe at all, and they won 3 championships. And the other team we forget. I know I'm dragging on here. What about the Spurs?
Which one? The Tim
Like-
Duncan,
like-
David Robinson Spurs, or the Kawhi Tim Duncan
Yeah, the
Spurs?
Kawhi.
Well, and then if you look at the Kawhi ones, there's Kawhi, there's Tim Duncan, there was
Tony
Tony Parker,
Parker.
Manu Ginobili, and Popovich was the coach. Why not?
There's also what? Tim Duncan, David Robertson,
Mm-hmm.
Manu, Tony. That's still another great team.
The Spurs are kind of, we brush over the Spurs, but they won 5 chips in that time. They're just, I think it's because they're boring. Because that's what people said. Tim Duncan said, like, I'm just a boring superstar.
He is. It's
He
he
gets
doesn't get the,
22
he doesn't
in
get
his
the
sleep.
credit he deserves because he's a fundamental guy, not a highlight guy.
Like, people got mad at me when I picked Tim Duncan ahead of Kobe Bryant. Everyone's like, what? If you look
not
at
the
all the lists, Tim Duncan,
Look at the stats. Yeah.
he's a tremendous defender. The best passing big man of all time, no question. And he's 5-1 in the finals. I mean, and Gav, it's true. A lot of people just look over the Spurs and Tim Duncan just because they weren't
I
flashy.
agree. They weren't too
Very
flashy,
true.
but they got the job done, right? And that's all that matters.
Like, I think more people remember the back-to-back Lakers teams with Kobe and Paul Gasol than they do of the 5 championship Spurs teams, which is
Most
crazy.
likely, yeah. Well, Lakers get more.
It's
more
L.A.,
attention.
the bright lights, Hollywood. I get it. San Antonio, not a flashy place.
Not as much.
Not at all. But I think I like this game, Gav, because we're just talking, we can't be biased at all. Like, I could have been biased and picked the Patriots,
Yeah.
but I'd be known as,
But no, there's all
because
bias
people
aside.
know who the best teams
Right.
of all time are.
Like 3 of these were you completely unanimous.
What was the one we weren't? Was it?
NHL.
Football and NHL. We had.
I think we all picked the Bears, though.
Oh, we did
We
all
did all
pick the
pick
Bears,
the
yeah, but
Bears.
there's more. But yeah, you're right.
No,
Hockey
I
was
said
really-
my argument was
Yeah.
if David Tyree drops
That's
the
true.
pass, then
But okay,
No
last
question.
question before we jump into a wrap up. Best team,
best run team
out of all of them. No, but just best team
out
That's
of
tough.
all of
out
those.
of all
ones.
4. Yeah, out of what we
That's
just
tough.
chose.
Oh my God.
Most dominant, most.
That's
It
really
has to be.
tough.
Might be Murderers Row.
Might be
I was gonna go with that. Yeah.
What
terms
would
of-
you be? Murderers Row 1.
Bulls,
Murderers
Bulls,
Row,
Bears,
Bulls,
Bulls,
Bears,
Bears.
and Edmonton maybe
Edmonton,
because
yeah.
Edmonton like
What?
they,
Why are we putting Edmonton last?
well they won but they went 49 and 20 and 11
So-
like, come on, tomato, right? Like
if you're going on that because you picked the 76 Habs.
76 Habs who were 60 and 8. That was better. 68 and 12.
All right.
So
You picked Oilers, right?
Yeah. I don't know, I picked kind of both.
All right. So we don't even sure. So we're going out of 84.
we're going Murderers Row first.
No question.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
Bulls second.
Second Bulls. So there's our top two.
And
And
then-
Chicago's got 2 teams.
Interchangeable.
Yeah. And then I would put, I'd go Bears 3
Yeah.
and Oilers 4.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just because you mentioned, I didn't know they went 49 and 20.
Yeah, like they still like. Obviously, it's different in hockey because there's more games, but still, the Bulls
I think-
went 72 and 10. You know?
I think you just look at the roster, right? And you have Gretzky, you have Messier, you have Yari Curry, you have
Coffey.
Paul Coffey, and Grant Fuhr. I mean, that's when people say that's the greatest team ever. But it's not like you said, Gav, their regular season wasn't.
No, it was not that.
It was a good season.
Great season, but it's not like 72 and 10. You know. So anyway,
And the other thing for football, we forgot about the Miami Dolphins were the only undefeated team ever.
yeah.
And we didn't mention them because they
Yeah,
only
true.
played 12 games. They're like 12 and 0.
Right.
So
Short season.
yeah. So just for you people at home, we went number 1 Murders or Yankees. Gav 2 Bulls.
2 Bulls.
95.
385 Bears, and then finally 4 Edmonton Oilers / Montreal Canadiens. 76-77.
All right.
It's up for debate.
It's up for debate. And you in the comment section, you can
let us know.
You can
Please
let us know in the
For
comments
sure.
who you think the best sports teams of all time,
Hey, tell us why we're wrong.
or why we're right.
Why we're
It's
right.
not always you don't
Very
have to think negative, John.
Okay.
You know,
But
we're
if you tell
usually
us why
right.
we're wrong, be careful. Sleep with
Yeah.
an eye open.
Sleep
Yeah,
with an
yeah.
eye open because
true. Better be anonymous.
Yeah. Screen name.
yeah, screen name exactly. So, Gav, do you want to take us through our sponsors?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you to the Lane family for putting us up as usual. We have a beautiful studio, indoor and outdoor. Thanks
Absolutely.
to them. So we're very fortunate
true.
here. Obviously, you can follow us at Instagram at The Tommy John Show.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of good press on Instagram lately.
No question.
We've received a bunch of nice shout-outs from our friends, most notably a cousin and a friend of the show of mine. She's currently a sports marketer at Concordia.
Well, there you go.
So she has plenty of connections with the Stingers. She's over on Instagram at MTLKatie. So she's trying to get to 10K. So go give her a follow. That's nice. But while you're at it, follow us at The Tommy John Show on Instagram. Twitter at Tommy John Show _ Make sure to follow us.
Absolutely.
Facebook
For sure.
page. Don't forget to like us. The Tommy John Show. YouTube, where you're watching us right now. Don't forget to like. And Tommy,
Smash that subscribe button.
absolutely. And of course, a website will be coming soon for all things Tommy John. So on my behalf, I would like to thank you guys very much for watching.
No
And I'll send it
question.
back over to the hosts.
Absolutely. And Johnny, any last words before
Thanks
we
for
wrap
watching.
up today's?
See you
What are we
next time.
looking forward to in the sports world, would you say?
Baseball coming back, man. I
That's-
can't wait for baseball coming back.
Hopefully when we do our next episode, the
They'll have
league
some sort of agreement in place.
we'll have an agreement in place and we can have something
In the meantime,
physical to talk about.
I'll keep watching the Korean baseball, man. I
Korean
like it.
we can get what we
Yeah.
can right now. Like I said, thank God the PGA Tour is back. Thank God the UFC's on every Saturday, or else I
It
don't
would
know.
be brutal.
It would be very bad. So, as always, I want to thank our producer, Kennedy Lane, running all the cameras
For
and the
sure.
technology. Our head contributor, Gruesome Gavin Delaney. And, as always, my co-host and dear friend, Johnny Mishaws. I am Tommy Lane. We want to thank you for listening. And remember, like and subscribe.